Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Talking Skritt. I'm your host John, better known as Dale. We're on Yak Spin with a fantastic show for you. PvP shenanigans happening again. Oh boy. Confusion of LFG and group content definition, and scented food is coming, and much more. But first, let me introduce you to my fellow hosts. He streams over on Twitch where he answers the age-old question: with all the issues happening in PvP, at what point do I just become rank 1 by default? Say hello to Age.
Well, you have to play PvP first.
Yeah, but I want it to be so as soon as I enter the mist, they're just like, all right, you got rank 1. I want to know that point.
I don't think you'd have to enter the mist first.
This is like the unstoppable object or immovable object with the unstoppable force. It's never gonna happen.
Yeah. Sorry, dude.
Dang, come on, ain't it? And she writes for MMORPG.com, an editor over at Virtually Interrupted, and also her own site, MMORally.com. Will she roar for or against the idea of more mounts in the game? Say hello to Robin.
I don't know, honestly. That is one of those topics that I'm like, both ways.
I was gonna say, is this our first ever like roar meh? Like,
yeah, I don't know how
like,
I feel on that one. I have very strong feelings on both sides of that argument.
Well, then it should be a good discussion for that one. Awesome. And you can find him streaming on his Twitch or catch up with him on YouTube where he plays Guild Wars 2 and a slew of other games. I actually saw him play Fable. Hopefully we don't get a Molyneux announcement next week. Say hello to our special guest, ZeKrioX.
I hope not. To be fair, I have my expectations in a medium. Not too low, not too high, because I don't want to be disappointed either way. So,
right.
That's probably the best way to go into it. I know we kind of like to speculate on what if, but I think don't go too far off the deep end because I don't, so many times in any game, not just Guild Wars 2. It's
all I'm going to say about the announcement on the 30th is if there's not a moment like when they announced Hot, like that makes me feel the way I did when I saw the characters leap off the cliff and suddenly they were gliding. If there's no moment like that, it's a failure.
Wow.
Did Zach freeze again?
Oh, really?
Uh-oh.
Actually, I could actually fix it this time. It's much easier.
Oh, good.
To fix it. Let me see.
So good news, it still is a smiling one. It's not a awkward pause at it, but
Green cap it. Just let you have it. Just
like chat saying we were playing season 5 all along. That would be scary. But let us actually talk about some of the events that have been happening and some that are going to be happening. So we talked about last week, was slated for this week, was Champions Rush. Have you got basically how it worked was when you logged in, I think they gave you a first kind of like reward box for free, but as you killed champions, you got tokens and you can take them back to a special vendor in the town and get more of these boxes for depending on how many tokens, basically how many champions you killed. But I'm curious, have you guys had a chance to try out the Champion Rush?
I did it 10 minutes ago.
Nice. I have not. I've not had the opportunity. How long is it going for?
Monday, Tuesday.
27th.
Oh, okay. That's
which
I
Go ahead.
I've been able to do some champion. It's been fun, but it's been a little chaotic since I don't think anybody has been able to do like a proper organized way of going through a train in a way. It's like everybody just doesn't know where they're going sometimes.
Well,
and that's one thing I wanted to bring up.
In the old, before expansions and stuff, there used to be champ trains all the time.
And that's one thing I want to bring up because I know some people were Chad saying Kessex Hills is the best, so I guess that one kind of cycled between 3 of them or 3 or 4 of them, so it wasn't like as big of a one, but I think there's actually achievements attached to it, because I was doing it with Alphanis on Wednesday, and we went to Ore, and I think we got an achievement for doing one in Ore. Then we kind of went to Ascalon, so it seems like there's ones for each of the zones.
Oh,
So it
yeah,
does
dailies.
entice you to go there. What's that?
Dailies.
Oh, is that for the daily? Okay.
Yeah. But it does entice you to go there, so.
But yeah, I'm wondering. This is one thing, and I saw I saw someone bring this up. I think on Reddit was, um, is this champion one bring out like the worst in people? Like in the sense of in the sense of they were even saying it, and kind of like how you guys are hinting at, where people aren't being very well organized. But I've also seen the ones where I was like, you could hear me being a little bit sad about it on like when I was playing with it with Malfanis on Wednesdays around this on Twitch here. But it was, we were in Ore and started hearing people go, fail this event so we can get more champs. I'm like, why do you gotta go ruin a good thing? Like, because we've talked about in the past, ain't it doesn't like when I mean, I don't know how much of an action they would do for a 1 week event thing, but I mean,
Yeah. I mean,
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say I don't know if it's a big enough deal that they would do anything about it this time, but maybe for the next time around they might implement something to like prevent that.
Right. As far as like what I meant about like it's just that what I've encountered with the whole disorganization thing is that it's more like a lot of the commanders that I've seen are like, man, I haven't been here in a long time. I don't know where I'm going anymore.
Right.
Is
Right.
this it? Is this where I'm supposed to go? We've had in so many run-ins where we were like, okay, let's go to this spot. We follow him, and we realize, oh, it's a veteran. Oops.
Aw.
So,
Yeah.
as far as failing events, that's the first time I've heard it. So, like, that's kind of disappointing to hear. But I don't know.
and
What
that's
I've
always
encountered.
been a big prevalent thing in Ore. Like, I haven't really ever seen that too much anywhere else. I mean, except for like, what was it, the old Queensdale one, which that was kind of squashed.
Right.
That was such a toxic welcoming party.
Right.
But yeah, and I've also heard I think they also brought up the like issues like that where, and I've noticed that when we were in Ore, where people don't remember the spawn order or anything like that, because they would be like up here, down here, up here, and I'm like, why am I following this person? By the time I go down that waypoint and do like a quick little loading screen, they've moved back up, and I'm like, what the
What is happening?
Yeah, it got really weird too because I end up trying to follow the commander because I'm expecting, hey, I think these guys know what they're doing.
Right.
Waypoint 1 map. Okay, I'm following him, making sure in the right shard server, whatever. Then I realize, oh, he's not on this map anymore. Where did he go? Oh, he went to Bladridge Steps. Okay, fine. And it's
And
just
chat
we're
was
jumping all over the place.
the chat's asking, is it worth it? Well, I would say it's at least worth it if you want like the community rewards, which like the tier 5 was kind of like the little chest tonic and stuff, which they did say on the forums this past week that due to the champion rush goal tracker being bugged, they have made it where they want the community to enjoy the rewards, so they're making it so it's still going to go to the 27th, so it's not like it's getting cut off really quickly, which is good. I was a little worried about that when they were saying this, but once the event ends, everybody's going to get the tier 5, I think it went up to, rewards. And so basically go kill just one champion and turn it in if that's the bare minimum you want to do by the 27th.
That's
that way.
the thing you're interested in.
Yeah. So which is, I think, good on their part since it did break and they didn't like end it early or anything like that. But
I mean, as far as anything, I mean, I got one of those champion bags or something like that. I mean, I really didn't I'm not using the tokens yet, but I got an infusion out of it. So
nice.
The polyluminescent one, black. I got that one. So
I was gonna say, I'm trying to think what's in the bags, because I was opening up, I was getting a lot of like materials and stuff. So, and I know we'll be talking about later, like the next bit of the Ascendant food. I don't know how much food product was in there, but you could always I know there's some things in there that aren't food related, which we'll get to, that you're gonna need materials for. So it might be good to stack up on, get some materials. Is it gonna? I wouldn't, try to farm this constantly, especially with how you're gonna get it for just doing one token or one champion. But especially because, like I said, when I was doing it, there was also on top of that, and I think the person even was talking about this as well, was when people were out of rotation, other people would be going to other spots and not calling champions because they wanted to make sure to get a hit or, what have you. So, yeah, for me, I don't know if the Champion Rush was a good event. Like, I don't know, reminds me of a lot of the issues we had with the champion trains and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't think it's I don't think it was a really well organized event just because of all the hopping you have to do in different maps, or just like you have to follow a train that's going to go all over the place because people aren't used to the champ trains anymore.
Yeah.
So unlike world bosses where you have like a timer and know which one each coming up at which time, things like that. So I don't know how people are doing it. I just went for one champ and I just like stopped. Unless you're like staying on a map with a lot of champions, I don't see other maps being as lucrative. And if I guess people could figure out a rotation, sure, but then it doesn't seem like a worthwhile event to me personally, just because of all the if it was like champion spawning on one map or like a few maps and then like you had a timer, that would be a little bit better. It'd be more interesting. At least to me.
Oh, like maybe because remember this was only in the core tier map, so you're thinking like maybe it did a couple was like maybe it took, because it, like we said, for the daily it took different ones out of the regions. Maybe it took one out of the a certain region, one out of the Char region. That way it would.
Put champs on one of those regions on one of those maps. Daily rotation works for me. Let people can go on those maps and then just farm it the entire day if they want, and then the next day it changes to a different map in the region, and just a rotation of that works for me.
And I do see chat saying they have in the past tried to stop champ trains. The only two times I can think of is basically a lot of times in Ore when it was people were demanding people fail, because while they want people to they didn't seem like they minded people farming champs. It's just not failing an event to get better rewards or whatnot. That's where they had an issue. And also the only time I know that they changed champs was kind of the starting zones, just because, especially Queensdale, like I was kind of joking about it earlier, just because I remember in the past, like going up and it's like, oh, there was the champ spider by the hunting lodge or something. I'm like, oh, let me kill it. And it's like, what are you doing? You just ruined everything. We are going to find you. And like, it's like, like this is a horrible experience for someone new to the game. So I know that, the starting zone champs were stopped pretty quick. Basically, the chat is basically saying the story that I was just doing. Like, people were just hounding you, ready to destroy you.
It was.
Although I'm so guilty of that in the earlier days, because I got so mad at the champion parts, because I kind of agreed that for starting zones it didn't make sense to have a champion train, because why bother going to the harder maps when you can just slay all the easier champs in the starting zone, and they were kind of disruptive. And I got mad to a point where I would deliberately like go like 2 bosses ahead and kill it by myself before they would show up at one point. It was funny. It was funny to see the reactions at the time, but I wasn't a fan of the earlier champion farm trains, honestly, and I'm still glad that they removed that. But in this case, I mean, this is more of a case of it's been a while. Nobody plays. I mean, not nobody plays, but rather many have strayed away from core tier to the point where now everybody's kind of like bringing back memory lane. I'm wondering, like, where do I go from here? Was it this way, that way? And also, Arena has done some changes here and there where even certain champions have been turned to veterans, other
Yeah.
veterans turned to champions, and there's been a lot of changes since
Over the years, yeah.
we then started to focus on doing a champion rush like this. So.
Which honestly, I don't think is a bad thing. It's annoying when people are blipping around and stuff for us, but I think from their perspective, that might not be a bad thing just because it's like you want. Well, I'm not going to consider it new gameplay content, but you want a different experience. This is a different, like, you're not fighting the same things over and over again, like from 4 years ago or, 6 years ago. So if they have made those alterations, people have to learn the new way to traverse the map the most efficient way possible, which I know that's one aspect that's somewhat entertaining for the farmers that figure out those routes, is like figuring the most optimal path. So in that stance, I would say it might be successful, but yeah, I don't know, tying it to the champion rush thing, like champions, just a lot of people are like, I need to get mine, so I'm just gonna secretly kill this one over here. Or champions just have horrible scaling and melt in 3 seconds when there's more than 10 people.
Like there's the shaman. I think there's a shaman in Snowden Drifts. I think it is one of those ones where it's a series of quests. And the last thing is like the shaman, and I feel like if you have any more than 5 people, it just like melts like in a second. That one can be a pain, especially if you're running up and you're like,
Wait for me, guys. I don't have a mount.
I would feel I can't even fathom the people that don't have an amount in there. I have heard some stories of some people that were being a commander and being like, wait here while everybody gets here, which, fantastic, kudos to them. I for me, when I was going out there, did not feel like that was the norm.
No, I would say that's probably more likely an exception than the normal.
Yeah. And Chad's saying they're probably prepping us for Living Story Season 5. They're thinking it's mostly going to take place in Core. Which, have they talked about ever? Because I know they've liked the idea of time locking the zones. Have they finally, hopefully, fingers crossed, are going to go back on that? Like,
they said something. It sounds like they're at least going to like be not so rigid on it.
Okay.
I think that's probably because to me it doesn't read like they're going to go full on bringing it up to date, but they're allowing a little bit more like evolution on it.
Because I know in the past they did wording where it sounded more like how we've had with Dry Top and stuff, where it was like a new map, but it was going to be for like the next couple episodes where it just keeps opening up to bigger and bigger. Whereas, I mean, I would love for them to go to older maps and rework things, but I know they were just, the last big thing a Chronomancer can do. Otherwise, they get banned in PvP.
Well, it's interesting because I remember when they started the Living World, and they were not at all against like updating maps with new stuff, and like Keswick Hills is the big example everybody goes with because that changed so much during that first Living World season. But I know that they got a lot of flack from players too, because people were starting late, never got to see the original version of it, and like without that stuff, and there's arguments on both sides for it.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, Keswick Hills was actually my favorite map in the early days, and then nowadays I just look at it and I'm just kind of like, what have they done to you? I mean, I didn't mind the tower being a thing. I mean, that's like, oh, cool, an event. And now we saw the aftermath of it. Now it's just a pile of scrap metal in the middle of a lake.
I saw at one point somebody was saying that they would love for there to be a part of the story or event thing to go through and clean up Keswick Hills and kind of restore it. And I was like, that could be interesting.
I will vouch for it. Trust me, I want this. Also, that fort, I don't know which fort was it, the one in season 2. Yeah,
I
that
think.
thing got wrecked by more
Yeah,
Dramont's
it's
blinds.
never been rebuilt. We just
Yeah,
were
like
like, no, it's a loss. Whatever.
The Delacroix sister's still hanging there somewhere.
Go
Living
poke her
Story season
body.
5, the first half is we're going after these evil mesmers that are time locking all the zones, and we shatter their spell so that we can
Yes.
start. Boom. Come on, Arena, there you go. You are welcome.
Mhm.
But
Sold.
yeah. But yeah, like I said, I was excited for Champion Rush, but yeah, now I'm remembering all the negatives that came with Champion Rush, which sometimes is the player base. But like we said, there have been nice shining examples of, people that have been doing good and organizing good maps. So, but any other thoughts on the Champion Rush? There's another
I,
event coming up.
I would say good attempt. Hopefully you learn from it. Next time we introduce it again, hopefully it'll be better. And looking forward to the next one if it is better. So
Yeah, because I mean they've done the world bosses twice, so they might just redo this one and make tweaks to it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So this is kind of leading up to the August 30th announcement that we'll definitely talk a little bit more about. But there's actually an event happening afterwards, which I'm wondering if we can maybe even make some speculation on why they're doing it right after the event. But starting September 3rd to September 17th, they are doing an expansion boost special event. So for 2 weeks, you'll gain double mastery experience in Guild Wars 2, Heart of Thorns, Living World Season 3, Guild Wars 2 Path of Fire, and Living World Season 4 maps. It's a great time to explore and play through the story and unlock all your mastery tracks. So definitely seems like it's going to be a catch-up mechanic without super trivial, like you're going to still have to do the content.
Mhm.
Because I'm thinking of, for people that are wondering, I'm thinking of WoW, where it's like their catch-up mechanics were like basically outside the new raid that they introduce, or the dailies that basically give you the gear that trivializes all the previous raids.
Mhm.
So at least this way you still have to play the content, just not as much.
Right.
But yeah,
Interesting.
I mean, yeah, it's interesting that they're doing it right after. I mean, definitely seems like something where they're gonna want people at that like end of season 4 point. I mean, September 17th would be a Tuesday, would it not? That's how it usually works. What if
September 17th?
Yeah, the end of it. September 17th would be the Tuesday like it normally is. What if they announce September at that announcement, Living Story Season 5 starts September 17th?
I mean, I guess that could be handy if you have like an alt account and you're trying to speed run your character progression, your account progression. As for, I would say most players that already played a lot of the game at this point, it would be kind of unnecessary because, I mean, for now, we don't have anything to spend, when it comes to masteries. So,
Yeah.
I mean, unless, if, obviously not everybody is up to speed in that, but I mean, I'm saying it can be useful for some people, but at least for me and maybe for some of the more experienced players, that really isn't relevant to us, I would say. And again, possible with if you have an alt account, then this would be the perfect time to speed boost all that.
Maybe they're trying to help incentivize people converting free-to-play accounts more.
And maybe after this September 3rd, maybe after the August 30th announcement, they're thinking they're gonna have an influx of maybe people making that conversion.
Yeah.
Which I'm also wondering if this is almost like a kind of attempt at the when they announced free to play, like the free to play core version type thing. The first thing, and kudos to the community, were like people were welcoming people at the starting zones. I wonder if this is almost like their chance or take at like maybe they open up, or maybe they're finally going to make a bundle. We'll be like, oh, leading into season 5, if you want to catch up, you can buy this handy bundle that gives you Heart of Thorns, Living World season 3, Path of Fire, and 4, like stuff that people have asked for in the past with leading up to expansions, where it's like, oh, you're giving me all previous expansions, but not the bits in between. Like,
Right.
I wouldn't honestly. That would be a good marketing tactic at that point. Hey, we're
Yeah.
having season 5. Want to, that's
yeah,
honestly a really
Catch up. Yeah.
that's really
Yeah.
smart if that's the case. I wouldn't be surprised if they announced that later.
Yeah, I was literally just about to ask, has H said anything this entire show? Like, seriously?
yes.
Listen, I will participate when I deem necessary.
I just felt bad because I'm like, we're dominating. I'm like, how do you feel, H?
Yeah, I think they're just prepping for whatever comes out on the 30th, and it's like ramp up for basically what you guys said. So
Yeah.
And I agree with chat how they're saying they really feel that they should bundle the Living World stuff in with the expansions. I think especially, and I think I've said this in the past, when you buy the higher tier, like the deluxe editions or something,
Right.
I think they should be like, all right, we'll give you the, seasons.
Although, like, I think the argument for not doing that is by bundling it in with the expansions, it disincentivizes the people who play the whole time and get those unlocked automatically anyways from buying them, because that's a whole certain amount that you would be getting anyways if you're always playing and logging in regardless. Like, there's less value in that jump of stuff, if that makes sense. I'm trying to explain my thought and I don't think I'm doing it very well.
Oh, I was gonna say, I mean,
All right, so like for players like me, as an example,
yes.
I don't play every day, but I log in enough that every episode is automatically unlocked for me regardless. So for me, I always tend to get the bigger bundles for the expansions anyways, because like I usually like the other stuff that they're offering. But if they're offering all of the episodes from a living story with it, to me that's like, well, that's valueless because I already have it. I was
Well, but
already
isn't that
going to
this?
have it regardless.
But isn't that the same argument when people say, well, why do POF? Because don't you, if you get POF, doesn't it give you hot? Like, or at least the early bundles were? You got hot.
So, no,
I thought.
No.
that's people got upset because they thought they were going to do that.
Oh, it
They
gave
would
you the
reduce
core game or
price of
something.
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point. If it's not giving you, I for some reason I thought it gave you the previous ones, and I
No,
might be
you
thinking
still,
of other.
it was still, I think the cost of hot when you bought POF was like $20. So you got it at a reduced price than people bought it originally. But
Oh, okay.
still had to buy it separately.
No, and that basically like POF came out at 25, somewhere in that range. It's just that they would basically just reduce the expansions pricing, and then the typical idea would be like if you're a free to play account, you can buy the both expansions at the same equivalent as buying a AAA title at this point.
Right. Yeah.
And I did see someone in chat say they play for free, so they think it would help. Well, I think the problem with this is, and if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if they said it one way or the other, but since it is talking about you get double XP in, basically all the expand stuff beyond the core game, don't you, like, it's not giving it to you for free or temporary. You'd have to buy it anyway, so you wouldn't
I wouldn't
technically
be
no longer be a
surprised if
free.
they put on sale next during that period. Honestly.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, especially leading up to it's the anniversary, and they're having a big announcement where they're trying to push the next section. I would imagine there's going to be some kind of sale.
Yeah, I would be really shocked if they didn't do that. And I would be really shocked if the community doesn't get all mad that they paid all this money for stuff that people are now getting for less money, because we always do that.
It's like a WoW expansion at that point.
Do any of you guys have an alt account, like a free to play account?
I don't.
Because the
I
thing
don't
is,
know.
I do have an alt account, and I actually checked the gem store, and it does have season bundles. Like if
Yeah.
you want to purchase the entirety of season 2, just purchase through this entire pack. So
Right.
that is an option that exists.
And it also works that if you have certain episodes within a season unlocked already, like you logged in, you happen to log in during it, it will reduce the price down.
Wait,
the
if you're a
already
free to play player, you can. Oh wait, you can buy season 2. Okay, because I was gonna say,
Makes
are you able to
sense.
buy season 3 because that requires Heart of Thorns, which that would be a pretty.
You can unlock it whether you have Heart
Yeah.
of Thorns or not if you logged in during those times. You just
Yeah.
can't actually play it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if
I don't
you
think
are
you
a
can
free
buy it.
account, okay, I was gonna say, does it show
Yeah, I
that
don't think
you
you
can
can buy
purchase season 3 and 4?
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense.
Because season 2, it doesn't
yeah,
require an
Season 2,
expansion. Because
yeah.
I was gonna say that would be pretty bad if it, because it's like, hey, you bought it, now go buy the expansion so you can play it. It's like, but I'm a free.
No, you can't buy it. But what I'm saying
Okay.
is by
But
logging
yes.
in during those times, it's unlocked technically. So when you do buy the expansion, those
Yeah.
episodes you wouldn't have to pay for. Like
Okay,
again.
yeah, Chad is saying that you can't buy. Okay, that's what I thought, because when you were saying you can buy season 2, and for a split second I was like, wait, how can you? Then I'm like, oh wait, season 2 was before Heart of Thorns, so that one you could do.
That was the lead into Heart of Thorns.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that is important to note if you are free player, since you can't play the like 3 or 4 if they, because I know they in the past did like catch up ones where it's like, well, every week we'll do another one and you can re-unlock it. Or when season 5 starts, if they do the same formula, which I would be weird if they didn't, but who knows. If you are playing the game and you can't access the content, still log in for season 5 and onward if they once again still keep this same formula, because you can unlock it in your account. And then eventually, if you do unlock, whatever the requirements are, you'll be able to play it.
Yep.
But
save
same
yourself
goes
some money
with
down the road.
yes. Same goes with season 2, 3, and 4, and not season 1. Maybe that'll be an announcement. We got season 1. No one's buying that.
That seems just as likely as a new playable race to me.
Oof.
What? If it's Mike Z announcing, I want him to stare down the camera and go, "Oh yeah, Arlie, here's our new bundle, new playable race with season 1." It doesn't make sense, but it's happening.
That would be amazing. I would literally be like, "Well played, thank you."
That's interesting. If they announce season 1, it might make people even more angry than anything.
Right. Like
you mean as the announcement content? Yeah, I honestly, when I say this stuff, I don't think this will be the main thing, because dear God, that was,
I wouldn't expect it to be the main thing, but what I think he means is more that for a lot of people who were there when it was happening, it was part of a thing because we all knew it was temporary content. It was all going away. And it's kind of like, bragging rights or whatever the shit that you were there and you did those things that other people can't do. So some people would feel like they're taking that away from them if other people can experience it. So
I mean, they did it for PvP in the back piece, so might as well.
yeah. I mean, this is a game where people will be coming, like we were talking about. That's the reason why people are sad that they changed Keswick's Hills. It's like people want to experience the story, and if they did that way, it'd probably lessen the blow. Because if you go into an instance, because they've done that with the personal story, where it turns everything kind of black and white, where it shows old lines art, it's like, this is how it used to be, and I think that would lessen the blow. Maybe not for ZeKrioX, which Keswick's Hills is his favorite zone, but it would lessen the blow for other people of like, so this place, it's kind of like right outside their, main city. They're like, meh, it got a giant rod shoved into the middle of the lake. Meh, who cares?
I wish they would bring back the Tower Nightmares, though. I really like that.
Yeah.
Let me see. Technically you can experience old LA, but only through instances, and that's through
and that's only like small sections of it. Like you can't wander the whole city, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's just not the same.
But any other other thoughts on the expansion boost special event?
This is
Yeah.
essentially the other thing I was thinking about. If there was that leak a while ago, and what this announcement is essentially what that leak was, but that leak was saying this is what the October 30th announcement would be, which amuses me.
Okay, I was gonna say I have no idea what the leak would have been like.
The leak
But
was
yeah.
essentially what they just announced.
Oh.
A leak
And
of a
people-
preview.
Right.
And people
Except for
bought
the
that?
leaker claimed it was the big announcement on the 30th.
But yeah, anyway, next up, we talked about last week that they're looking to add ascended food. So basically cooking to 500. And they put out a blog post and everything like that. And so basically on August 27th, yeah, I was gonna say they did a guild chat on it. On August 27th, you'll be able to level up your cooking to 500. So basically, when you reach cooking 425, sous chef Seymour Oxbone will contact you to check on your progress. And basically, he's so impressed with you, he wants to see you, and he's in each of the home instances. So, and it isn't locked by race. Like, you'll eventually want to go to each of the races, I believe, to get all the recipes. So you can really start anywhere you want. But he has you do a couple things depending on what race quest, and they did deliberately kind of say it was like a little quest line, which I'm kind of intrigued that they used that terminology and not collection or dynamic event, or which that would be weird if it was a dynamic event.
Said that each race had a unique quest line is interesting.
Yeah.
Although I only have like one chef in my entire
Same.
Need.
I don't know.
It's actually pretty cool. So I'm actually, it's good for like farming and stuff like that. So
I'm excited because I might actually use some of the food that I have sitting around in my bank that I haven't used in years.
You're not just going to use some of the
remember the last time I made food.
So you're not just going to use some of the food, because eventually they want you to upgrade the furnace that he is like cooking at, and it actually requires, and we got a little clip from the guild chat here, but you upgrade it with bloodstone bricks.
Yeah.
There's a use for all the bloodstone bricks. Hallelujah.
It also gives you a little cooking area in your home instance.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Dragonite. You need Dragonite ingots, I think it was. You need Deltramore steel. You need spirit wood planks. So have fun with that.
And that's why I was saying, when the event was giving out some resources, this champion one, so it was like you might want to do it, but there's still loads of ways to get the stuff. But
I'm gonna sell a precursor. I don't have time for that.
And Chad saying the heat stones you need are time gated and you need 3.
Oh no.
It's not shocking though.
No,
like
that's kind of the go-to.
Is top.
Start now.
So.
Start now. Boom. There you go.
To be fair, I'm kind of happy that they brought that character for this whole 500 thing, because that guy has been teasing this whole idea of like, I'm gonna find a way to use the bloodstone dust someday.
Right.
Look at that. He found a way.
It only took him 4 years?
Well, and that's what I'm kind of curious about it. I think he's displeased that you're using it as basically brick and mortar, because I think they showed on the stream it was a little like nod to it. I don't have the video here, but when they upgraded the char zone, and I think he does it in every zone, but this is where they were showing it, you can see off to the side the chef as it upgrades, he bends over and starts crying, like he's like, I guess it's like, no, that's not what I meant. At least that's how I portrayed it, was like, no, I wanted it in the thing, but
Plus added achievements too. Added achievements too. Because whenever you try to first time trying to do like upgrading your crafting profession, you do actually have achievements tied to it. So
that's cool.
And to be fair, chat, I've been annoyed about time gates. Like you're talking about the Drew back
Since the
pace.
beginning.
I was gonna say, I
Since
think there
the
should be
day
an
he was
in-game way
born.
to
Deo came
a
into the
difficult
world
in-game way to
yelling
reset it.
about time gates and how terrible they were.
I even showed up early. I was like, I'm out of here early. Screw your time gate.
You can't
Anyway, this is
force me to wait.
I'll say this is getting down a weird road now. And I like chat saying it's because it's so beautiful. Okay, I can understand that because that does look like a nice. Like to be fair, since it's in the home instance, I'm like, can I like? Is this video showing it in the human one? I'm like, can I do like everybody's houses with all my bloodstone bricks? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I hate to admit it, but every single time they talk about the home instance, I have to think about it and be like, where is the home instance? Because I never go to mine ever, which is such a waste because I have nodes and stuff in there and I'm still working on the snowy shoulder. So I should be trying to get the gift for my tree every day, but I don't. And yeah, I never go to the home instance ever.
yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I think probably most people are. But they
Yeah.
did also show off at the very end the feet, like how the feet, because all these will be feasts. They said from 400 to 500. I think they said after you do all the quests, it'll probably set you around 475. I think they said roughly at level, so you have to do the rest.
Right, just making.
But yeah,
stuff.
this is what the feast display looks like, which it does look nice, but I think like Chad has said and like a lot of people have said leading up to this is feasts kind of have a problem because you set it down and you have 8 or it can do like 10 or so different like people can pick at it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like and it does increase stats a pretty good bit, but the problem is if you're going into like a raid or something, some people have Condi builds, some people have like certain builds that would be more beneficial than others. Right. It's like, how are the different feasts differentiating? And also, if someone sets down the power one or the, because I know
Did they show what stats the different feasts give at all on the guild
I want to say the one that they showed, it was like, it was plus 45 to all attributes.
Oh.
I'd have to pull it up. I can't quite remember, but there's like 66% chance on crit to steal life. It was celestial lifesteal. Yeah, see, that's what my problem is. It's like, what's going to happen when you get these other ones? Or literally people can be thrown down at raids like 10 or at most like maybe 3 or 4 different feasts. Like,
it's too bad. Like, it's too bad that, I mean, it's good that there's so much variation in builds and what things, like, it's not every class needs the same thing, but it makes it harder for them to program and say a base where different people eating off it will get different bonuses to kind of take that into account. But you can't really do that because depending on your build, what you want will change so much even within the profession.
And you're right. Like raid food can't be cheap. Only the like as you're saying, only the tryhards will go crazy with this. But that's the thing. They're like raids bring out the min maxers. Like that's kind of where you're testing it. And if you want that little bit of an edge, I think it's kind of, and who knows? I mean, people weren't like, oh, no, the game will be fine. People aren't going to be all up in arms, but a lot of people, it's kind of not the easiest to pug sometimes.
You don't have to be in a group to eat a feast, right? Like,
I don't think so.
Because I was going to say, since I don't raid, for me, I mostly will probably make these and then drop them randomly around for people to just have starting areas and stuff.
And Chad is right that we don't know how costly the food will be. They did show some of the stuff, which did mess with the pricings on the trading post, which I know some people were complaining about, but that's always happened and it's always balanced out. But
yeah, anytime they add a new thing that has stuff, like, it's going to fluctuate the trading posts. There's no way around that.
Yeah, and I think that's my point. And like Chad's saying, it's not necessary, but there are people that do require it. Once again, goes back to my thing of with the LFG tool. Just specify the group you want and how thorough of a are you gonna require food. If not, cool. It's
I think
but
I'm glad it can exist, but I'm still trying to figure out where would I use it for, because um, world bosses could probably benefit from that. I know feasts are used a lot during especially during like Great Three-Headed Worm and Blood Tide. There's always feasts in there just to boost up the stats for everybody to kill the thing quickly. World versus world, I could probably see a lot of uses for it, but again, it's sort of a thing where classes vary. Depending on the role you play, you do need different foods, but I think I don't think the intention is to replace the current foods. Is more like an added bonus, in my opinion. That's how I view it.
uh, and like Chad's kind of going back and forth on the whole like a raid requirement for it. And like I said, I think that's why it's important in an LFG tool or anything like that, where people specify how they want people. Do they want a speed clear? Do they want required food, certain armor? Like you will be checked. You will be, and there are groups that don't. And I think this goes back to what they said at the very beginning: is you gotta, in any rating in any game, you gotta find the group that works the best with you. I mean, and Pug can tend to be a crapshoot because you don't know what you're getting a lot of the time until you get kicked. But but yeah. So any other thoughts on cooking? Like I said, that's gonna be coming out the 27th, so that's coming out before the 30th announcement, which I'm surprised because if you're looking at other games that are doing expansion-like features during their expansions, of course, this is something you usually see is like we're increasing our crafting discipline, our crafting stuff up into another tier, which I could have seen this been a expansion like feature that like they kind of talked about in the past, but I'm curious. It's like, what are they going to be bringing to the table that this isn't even like one of the maybe bullet points thrown out there?
I don't know if that's worthy of a bullet point for the 30th, just because I don't know, like after like what 6 years, they're adding an extra 100 layers to the cooking, and it's adding like little bonuses like magifying karma, all that stuff. So it's not really something I would put in an expansion, but rather off by itself. Or well, announcement. Sorry.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, like other expansions, that's usually one of the go-to things. Is granted they raise all the
Well, we're
crafting
saying
disciplines.
expansion, right? But like, what we don't know what else they're gonna put on it, and they also might be running out of time and about all the things they want to talk about. So I don't know if
True.
this was one of the things that they brought out and just put out earlier.
And
Or
and in case someone's about to type in like, well, they're not announcing expansion, they're announcing Living Story. I'm still going back to how they were saying at the very beginning of the year, they wanted to start introducing expansion-like features in Living Story to show that they don't need necessarily need expansions. Which, like I said, I could see this being one, but I'm just surprised that it's maybe even not as like a little foothold. Like I don't think this should be the all right, we have an hour, let's talk about ascended cooking. Like no, that shouldn't be the main focus. But like I said in the past, other expansions, that's usually a bullet point of we've raised the crafting caps. And but yeah, so
Yes,
I don't know. Go
I
ahead.
guess it wasn't. I guess it wasn't like that big to add it to the next one, because jeweler's still at 400, and everybody wants that at 500 too. So
Maybe that'll be the announcement at the 30th. One of the
that could be it
we
too.
know how we did crafting. Well, we didn't we did cooking. We didn't forget about jewel crafting.
I mean, crafting ascended trinkets is actually pretty cool, honestly, just because people who don't have access to Living Story don't have access to like the easy way of just gathering the Living Story currency just to buy them outright. So They would have to either do like guild missions, they have to do fractals, they have to do
Which, hey, if they
raids.
do guild missions, I'm fine with it. Put in more, and
Yeah, and the guild mission ones are pretty limited. They're like just core. So I don't know how they're actually going to introduce those. Do we need an expansion to actually make some of those jewel crafting ones? Because with cooking, it's a little bit more flexible, I would say. I don't know if they're actually going to introduce hot stats or POF stats, but with jewel crafting, it might be a little trickier. Are they just going to do core? Is going to do like if you have hot, you can unlock these ones. If you have POF, you have unlock these ones. That's going to be very interesting, actually.
mm-hmm. Any other thoughts on Ascended cooking?
More karma.
Hey, you're too busy making a bunch of legendaries, huh?
I need more mystic coins. If anyone wants to spare any, I will gladly take them.
I will give you all my mystic coins if you delete your thieves.
All of them?
Yeah, because I know you have more than one.
Yeah, of course I do. What are you talking about?
You have to delete them
Legendary
all.
cooking. Yeah.
Legendary cooking. You have to cook it in the like, not even that furnace will be strong enough. You have to cook in the belly of an elder dragon. Now
Damn.
that would be legendary. But
Oh, legendary cooking.
And you require Balthazar's flame to cook it.
there you go. Now that would be a feast. Eating an elder dragon over the rotating spit of the god of fire and war.
Wow.
Anyway, but if I killed an elder dragon and cooked it like that, I would not be able to eat it by myself. I would have to find some like-minded individuals, and I might be able to use the LFG tool to do that, or maybe not, because this past week there's been a little bit of a controversy over the use of the LFG tool. And apparently it started with someone saying that they got their account suspended only for 3 hours, but was for selling their home instance for farming, and they were using the LFG tool. And they were basically asking where the line was, because people, sell raids, sell other in-game things like that. And because apparently the violation in question has to do with where they posted it, which was the LFG tool. They said if it wasn't in the LFG tool, the person wouldn't have received a suspension. And I kind of want to read this like as at least they're retelling it and as came up, just so, because I don't know, the verbiage I think is also important here. So LFG is meant specifically for players grouping up, not selling or buying other things. Also, if you notice another using chat or abusing our policies, feel free to use the report a player feature within the game. And like chat saying, they, people have sold raids, and that's kind of what this person saying here. They were saying from their understanding, it basically means everything from buying/selling via the LFG tool. No matter if you only want to buy decorations for your guild hall, selling raids, or anything else, it's against the policy, which an arena employee came in and clarified. To clarify on this, LFG is not a sales tool. It is a tool to form groups for events, raids, instance content, and so forth. LFG stands for looking for group. That needs to be the main goal. And they go on to say, I fully understand that this could be a great place for nitpicking, but the rule is really very straightforward. If you make a group for group content, you are okay. If you use LFG for anything but group content, it is not okay. And, well, if that didn't get confusing enough, someone else on Reddit asked, so if you're allowed to post on LFG to invite others to a full home instance for free, is that okay? Since it's not selling or buying, including donations or tips, just to be nice to allow others to come and join with you. And the response from the same arena employee was, no, home instances are not considered group content. Which
what?
I think that, and me and Roman were kind of talking about this earlier. Once again, I think the problem is, and this is from the outside, I could be totally wrong on this, but they can't be a business to the player base. Like the player base has this weird, like, they're trying to make money, they're greedy. It's like, no, they're a business. That's what a business does. I'm sorry that you're finding out about this now. Like, but I was kind of relaying it or comparing it to this past week. Myself and Age were talking on our Warframe podcast. Go check that out. Blah blah blah.
Look up blah blah blah.
No, Via the Void.
Okay.
But if you just go to Mad Realms, it'll be on there. MadRealms.com. Okay, anyway, enough. But they were talking about changing their unvaulting, which is how they bring back some. You're able to either buy or farm some of the things that they kind of took out to make room for the new things that were coming in. And they were even saying, like, and I've seen them do this in the past too, but they've said it here where they were like, oh, we're making changes to this to help have a better rotation of things, so people may potentially spend more money, or you could farm the stuff. But they were like saying, they even said in there, do note that this is one of the bigger ways that we tend to make money from our company, for our company, so we can put out more, create and make more content for the player base. If ArenaNet would put that line in there, they would be like, you are the community would be like, you are the devils, you're the greediest of the greediest. Like, it's like, no, they're just a company that's trying to make money and also support what they're doing. But I think that's where my point is, that they couldn't just straight up said something like, well, this is stuff that you can usually buy from the gem store, which that does take money from us. We would prefer people do it, that way, as opposed to you have raids where they don't really sell raids in the gem store yet. Yeah. I know someone on the internet's going yet, which I don't believe for a second, but
I kind of feel weird about that last comment. Home instances are not considered group content. I mean, I know it's supposed to be like your main place, but you keep adding stuff to it. You keep adding decoration. Well, not decorations, but rather, new stuff like nodes and whatever for yourself. But isn't the point of a home instance to like invite people in just to like, hey, check out my crib, hey?
Not my home. Stay out, everyone.
Yeah. The home instance is a place where you can get away from all the other people in the world and just be by yourself and have your nodes and all the little things and not have pesky other people bothering you. That's the point of the home nodes.
Then you shouldn't be able to group up.
Then why do I have that ability of inviting parties in there? Come on.
Yeah, sometimes, you can't be alone all the time. You can invite people in occasionally and then disband the party and be like, get out.
Oh, why couldn't life work that way? I want to go to bed. Disband the group. Everybody's just like, I'm getting kicked out in 5 seconds. What's going on?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that, I think that's the questions, like what chat's bringing up. It's like, they like selling raid bosses. Some people are saying the jumping puzzle thing. Like I said, I think the wording is they were trying to save themselves, but it's like, because another thing I was pulling out was, like I said previously, they were saying LFG stands for looking for group for stuff like instance content, raids, events. They have a section for living story. They have two separate sections. Living story that has the maps, so the open world maps that are introduced, but also just a generic living story section where I guess potentially you could ask for help, which they have said in the past from other devs that they have designed the living story around being a solo thing, the solo story. I mean, we've joked in the past doing the Shining Blade event where you bring your friend in and they're just hanging up in the balcony throwing bombs that don't work half the time.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make for an engaging second player experience. Like, it doesn't feel great for a group content experience. So it kind of gets, once again, muddied there that you could potentially look for a group in there, but it's not really. Once again, you can group for it, but is it really group content? Like, is it a group instance content? So for me, it feels like the arena employee was trying to dance around the thing of like, well, we're a business, we're trying to make money, which, because of course the internet would then go, you're the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, once again, I feel is like a overreaction on, but
What's funny
no,
is
I'm
that
seeing
they
it
say.
more.
What's funny is that they say, oh, it's all the episodes can be soloable. They're meant to be single player stuff. But then, if I remember one instance, season 3 fighting Codicus,
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't exactly easy the first time around. They had to nerf the guy before it could be taken down to a degree, unless you're pretty good.
I
With the
know it
build.
was really annoying for me because I was a Norn, and the biggest Norn, and the camera didn't go like. Basically, I was staring at the back of my character's back, and I'm like, I think I'm hitting him. I don't know.
Maybe.
It was a super easy instance. Sorry,
You play a tiny human.
but I don't know. I didn't even know they nerfed it.
I think they lessened the AoE on it because I think it was pretty hefty, but I think I did beat it eventually before it got nerfed. So it was a doable thing, but I think for maybe the majority of people, maybe it wasn't. But
Oh, I think they just need to put a line where they need to define a decent definition that fits everything, because you can't show favoritism for one thing and not the other. Even if it is a business thing, I feel like it's just weird to say it like this. You have people complaining about, well, what's this? Is this okay? Is this okay?
Right.
It
I wish they had just said it's about the Gemstar. Like, that's easy. Why not just say that? I know people be pissy about it, but like,
I'd rather they just didn't say
like
anything. They shouldn't have said anything, to be honest, at that point, because there was no winning. Unless you come up with like a third thing that makes people understand, but not get mad, I guess.
And did they ever say why they are designing stuff for solo player base? I mean, every MMO.
Story instance?
I'm guessing in general is what the person's asking.
Well,
but
they designed the story instance for single player because, like, from their data, most people do those things by themselves. And if they were going to design it for groups, it would totally change what it was, or they'd have to design it for individual and group, which increases your dev time it takes to develop these things. So I think they just made a decision to go with what most people do, which is they play it by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, they'd be working in dungeon territory if that was the case.
Right, yeah.
Which, honestly, with Season 2, I was hoping they were going to go that way, because it seemed like if you wanted the story, you could go that way, but then they started, like, I remember the Centaur one, and, like, some of the achievements for, like, the Shadow of the Dragon, where it was, like, don't get knocked down, so you had to constantly jump. Mm-hmm. A lot of the strategies people have were like, we'll take more people. It's like, what if this was their strategy, which it didn't really pan out that way, but I was hoping it was you could do the story single player, but if you wanted to go back in and do like a couple of the more difficult achievements, it was like a dungeon level boss in that challenge mode that they would give you. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, once again, like I said, it didn't pan out that way. But I think Season 2 kind of did that the best, where they had like because the Centaur one, where it was like, don't get hit by their cyclones during the challenge mode. So,
Also, I kind of feel. I mean, again, there's a lot of weird mix mash of misunderstanding of what they're trying to talk about. When even the guy asks, "Hey, can I just do it for free? Is it fine?" And that's kind of hurtful because the thing is, a lot of people can be very generous.
Mhm.
A lot of the people who do that are very friendly, and just being nice, want to support the community one way or another, can provide that kind of assistance, or make it much more easier to just farm some materials. And now it's an offense at this point. Like, really, like being,
Well,
I don't know.
it's one of those things. I think where I was saying to Deo was I have to imagine that if you're just, amongst your friends sharing, like that, I can't see them suddenly having an issue with it because, your friend group is only going to be so big. Even if you're like the most popular person in the server, your friend group that you would share with is only going to be so big, and only some percentage of those people would make use of it every day if they had the opportunity. Like most people wouldn't. So the hurt on the gem store sales is limited. Plus, in that instance, too, it's possible that some people would use it and then go buy it later and be like, oh, this would be useful just to have. But like if you're selling it, then you're getting something and you're advertising it, and it widens your reach a bit more than if it's just localized to your friend group. I think that's probably, my guess is that's where the crux of the issue is that it's a much bigger potential issue.
And you
I
saying
guess.
that maybe it's because it's less controllable, because I was trying to think, I was like, well, what about like the gathering tools? But if you have if you're basically getting the ore because you don't have to go back and get a new pick or anything like that, so you're saving money there. And people have made the calculation like you have to mine this much to break even, and it would take you years and stuff.
Right.
And that's where I think where it gets to is they can control the economy a lot better through the resources, whereas this is basically a free market where someone one day is selling it for 2 gold, another day someone's just might be, hey, I'm just going in. Does someone want to join me? It's like,
right.
So maybe that's also the issue, is they can't control it as well. So
right.
Hmm.
Well, and then also there's the issue of like, somebody sees somebody else selling it and they're like, oh, hey, I could do that too. I have this. So they saw it, and it's again rippling out and making a much bigger issue than just the one person.
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of awkward with, like I said, them selling raid bosses and everything like that. But yeah, I wish they kind of would have been okay enough to just be like, it is a gem store thing. Like, that's how we make our money. It's how we keep the game as as minimal as it is, in the sense of they don't charge for living story. They don't, unless you miss it type thing. But
Right.
Yeah. What they presented was not a good argument. So
Yeah, I think it was badly.
Yeah. And I think that's probably my biggest grief with it, is it just seems like it's them trying to cover their base each time, because someone's like, well, what about in this situation? They're like, well, no. And then no. And then, like I said, at the end, by the end, when they're saying no, home instances are not considered group content, I'm like, but if you go back and talk about instance content, what other instance content do you have? Because they've already listed raids and stuff like that. It's like the only other instance content you have is story, which kind of is single player, which has a category in the LFG tool. So it's like, it's one of those things. I think they almost dug their own hole there, and it's like, ooh.
yeah.
Oh no, I think ArenaNet's controlling the market. That's the whole point with the trading posts and stuff like that. And that's why I said having this LFG selling thing as a free market thing, it's very, and like Rob was saying, it's very reliant on the ripple effect and stuff like that. Whereas in the trading posts, you do see the stuff where it's like, oh, you can put it in for the lowest bid, and then they always have that nice little pay on the side. But if you want to get your money now, it's going to be a little bit less, but you can get it right now. Yep. So, I fully believe they're controlling the in-game economy very well.
They would have to, because otherwise, like, some things would just spin out of control, and you don't want to very unbalanced economy. Like, it's not the best economy in the world, but it functions. That's the important part.
Mm-hmm. Any other thoughts on the LFG tool and the scandal behind it?
No, it's just terrible
Yeah.
like response to that, and it was not the real reason. And
Yeah.
eventually people will know that and understand that, but maybe not. But you know, it's a thing.
Word of the day: transparency. ArenaNet, please.
Yeah.
Oh, and I was gonna say, I kind of piggybacking off that, we also got to allow them to be transparent, and because, like I said, I wish they would have been. They would have been able to say, we're a business, we got to make money. You know, PR it up a little bit. Like,
I can
don't just
respect
go.
that. I can respect that.
I was gonna say, I think a lot of people could, but the general internet, especially with around Guild Wars 2, because like I said, when Warframe dropped that little thing of like, this is how we make our money, there weren't a lot of people going, well, then stop being greedy bastards. Like,
Right.
I really didn't see that. Granted, I didn't fully watch every post,
At the same time, I understand why they didn't say it, just because of all the current issues with microtransactions in the game industry right now. It's probably not the best time to state this hurts our jumpstart sales type of deal. So,
for a non-random thing, I mean, I think they would love that publicity of, yeah, we're not selling random stuff. Granted, they are selling loot boxes, but the article would probably only say, hey, they're getting yelled at for selling definitive things. But Guild Wars 2 is getting... Okay. Apparently we're going mobile. Maybe that's the announcement. I mean, there have been inklings of that in the thing, but I don't think they're going to drop GW2 and just go mobile. I think, if anything, they might run side by side, one being run by NCSoft, which
I think monetization-wise, but...
I mean, what game is...
Like every other game is doing it, so
yeah.
until they can't, so basically.
Yeah. But in other news, unfortunately, a game designer is actually leaving ArenaNet. David Pallone Webb is leaving ArenaNet for a position at Blizzard. So, you know, awesome for them. I mean, they said on Twitter, today's my last day at ArenaNet. In 2 weeks, they start at Blizzard. And they said that it's still sinking in for them, which I could imagine, like, especially maybe if you're focusing on game industry in general, or maybe even a specialty in MMOs. Mm-hmm. I'm sure Blizzard's probably top up there for a lot of people. Like you know, it's...
Maybe it'll fix WoW.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think he's a web developer, wasn't he? Or did I misread that?
I'm not 100% sure. Let me see. I do not see the information here. His last name is Pallone Webb, so he might be...
Okay, maybe my brain just convoluted that in the memory.
I'll see if I can find anything if you...
He's a game designer up till like August 2018, I think. Okay. And then he was design manager like December 2018 till now.
Okay, so essentially my brain just convoluted his last name with what he did.
Yeah.
All right.
I checked the LinkedIn. So.
Yay.
I was just going to say, I'll look at it if I didn't know if... Arlie's doing the classic thing of, oh, you're a Smith? Well, your last name is Smith. It's like...
Right. You're only allowed to do what your last name is.
Exactly. God, I wouldn't even know what I'd be doing, but all right.
Mm-hmm.
Would Arlie be a bard? Because that's
it's close, but not quite.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's...
Baird can be like the female version of bard.
Okay. I mean,
you'd be a bard with Air Jordans.
So
there you go.
You can be a bard that specializes in the instrument of Air Jordans, so you'd be like, you'd have to just do music through that. Didn't Air Jordans do that? They had the little pushy thing.
I like how he was really. It's like,
I
I'm
swear.
part of this
I don't know.
conversation.
At least at one point they did. I thought they had the little pump up things. Anyway.
Yes, they did. And
Oh,
people
welcome.
would pump them up too much and they pop and they'd get mad and want their money back.
And that's why they need a professional bard to show them how to, like, and you would specialize in it. Anyway, we are off on a weird tangent.
The little kids with the pump up kicks you.
No.
I made it come full circle. That was amazing.
I'll give you props.
Hey. I'm sorry, we devolved this.
I wish I could leave for Blizzard right now. I envy David on that one. No, but seriously, you know, it sucks to see someone leave ArenaNet, but I mean, it sounds like, you know, as they're saying, it's still sinking in for him. It sounds like it's almost like a dream job for him. So
yeah, it's a dream. Like, honestly, Blizzard is still a dream job for a lot of developers, like around our age. So yeah, kudos.
Yeah, so wish him luck. Also, one of the other positions that's actually open is for a writer or a narrative designer. I know Tom Abernathy was posting on Twitter about it, and I think he also said that, you know, you could also at Bobby Stein if you had any questions, and would, you know, be happy to try to help anything. But they did want to stress that it was not a senior position, but they do encourage women and members of other underrepresented communities to apply. So, you know, if you're interested and you're in the area or willing to move and you have the qualifications, definitely, you know, check it out. But any other thoughts on the job positions and openings?
I just think
go ahead.
I just think that they put this is not a senior position just to avoid the scare of, oh no, we lost a writer, and it's like,
well,
I think that's, I don't know.
I think maybe, but also I think more of it is that you don't get narrative design jobs that aren't at the senior level open that often. Like, most of the time you need to have a lot of experience to even apply. I don't think it's quite an entry level job, because I think you need to have some experience, but it's closer to that side than what you mostly ever see.
You're intermediate, basically.
Yeah.
Wow. That's cool.
But yeah, so if you are qualified for that, definitely head on out, you know, check out. If you get the job, hey, remember how we helped you? No, nothing. No. Maybe you can make me the top position of top, you know, rank 1 in PvP. But if you did that, that'd probably be a no, especially since what we've seen with the July automated tournament issues. But before we get to that, a little bit of a happier bit of news of PvP League Season 18 has begun. It started this past Tuesday, and it will go till October 14th. They said Jin's Dominion has been added to ranked play this season. So, and isn't that the...
That's the Genie one.
Yeah, but isn't that the 2v2 map?
No.
No, there's a 5. No, that's the 5v5 one. The 2v2 one is the Assur Arena, and then there's one with like a hallway.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of the Assur. Okay, because yeah, didn't they release test the Assur Arena and the Jin's Dominion one at the same time?
Yeah.
So maybe I'm mixing them two up.
I don't remember. And there's a third one being added, or was added.
Yeah,
but Jin's Dominion is one with the Genie, and I don't remember if it's actually... I don't know if people are okay with that one, because I've heard a few things about that map. But we'll see how it goes.
I mean, have you guys hopped into PvP League Season 18? I mean, for me, you can't keep me out of it. I've been just constant.
All day, every day?
Yeah, I mean, you had to pull me away just to do the show. I mean, I'm just like, I'm jonesing for some more PvP. I'm just...
Said Deo never. But no, I just don't PvP anymore. So
yeah, I don't think I've PvP'd since I stopped doing 0 to hero with Malthanis.
I haven't done PvP in a while either. I've been mostly doing regular PvE stuff, and at least with I don't know if it was since last year raiding. So casual raiding every week so far. So PvP is not in my mind these days, to be honest.
And see, I've been seeing more and more. That's kind of the problem. Is like a lot of people aren't going into like. It just doesn't seem like the season 18 was invigorating enough to get more people in. So
I shouldn't nerf my dagger pistol for 6 months.
well, there you go, Rena. There's the reason why.
Yep.
I don't know. For me, it's more like it's one of those things where if I want to do PvP, I do want to do it with friends, with people who I know, I can trust, and all that. I just don't like solo queue. And even though duo queue is a thing, it's just not enough. Like I want coordination with with 5 people I can hang out with. And sure, you can probably do that with ATs, but I'm gonna get I'm gonna get wrecked in there. It's like that's not my place. No thanks.
Yeah, I was gonna say, funny enough, you you can do that in automated tournaments, but geez, now it seems like even more is working against you. Not just that, because this last PvP automated tournament in July, there was a forum post put out that was basically saying, as many of you are aware, they have received many reports that the winners of July's monthly tournament were not played by the owners of those accounts. Sound familiar? After a thorough investigation, we have found that these accusations are true, and they are taking this very seriously. And they listed the following 10 players listed have been given permanent dishonor. So basically, they don't receive any experience or anything like that from anything PvP, so it's really not worth it. But they said, in addition, we have removed prizes gained by the winning players and have cleared the statues. They will retain the titles for a short while until they can remove them in the future, and they will be continuing to monitor tournaments in the future. And yeah, chat's basically summing up for me of why am I not surprised, because
yeah,
seems like this crops up every now and again.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got permanent dishonor this time though. So.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, there's that.
Didn't they do that last time for those people?
I didn't think so. I thought it was still temporary.
No,
they gave the
other people
pro
got
players
permanent dishonored. That was EU, I think, last time.
Oh, so totally different. That no, it was NA.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because last time wasn't it the pro players that got dishonored, and then the regular people just got a slap on the wrist, like that paid for it or something?
It was slaps on the wrist for a while, and then it was permanent dishonor at this point.
So now everybody, even the people that paid for it, are getting permanent dishonored.
Yeah. So you're not allowed to PvP, pretty much.
Well, I'm glad they got caught. At least I'm glad that they got caught. It's unfortunate. Yeah. It happens not only in this game, it happens in any game, but
yeah, anytime there's anything competitive, there are people who will just buy their way through it.
Though, but this is the thing that I think we've asked before, and I mean, last time, I don't know if it's the same in this situation. Last time it was like kind of PvE players paying the PvP pros to play for it. If it's the same situation, you have PvE players that don't normally PvP are no longer allowed to PvP, so it really doesn't harm them that much. They're back to how they were.
They can't complete any achievements that they wanted through PvP, I guess. But
that's true.
Yeah, I don't know. That's about it. I don't. It seems weird, right? I don't know. Not.
When I was gonna say, for the stance of the pro players, PvP doesn't really matter. You could just get a new account, and it's not like you're really caring about.
Well, honestly, I don't think they care at this point. I don't think they really care about PvP at this point. It's just that if they're good enough, they'll just make money on the side, just doing what they're good at.
Mm.
If they get caught, yeah, sure, make another account. If anyone wants to buy their services, they'll just keep doing that.
Yeah, like I said, while it's good that they're displaying both sides now, it just seems like it's still not a good punishment. I'll be right back if you guys want to continue.
Poor Dale.
As everything's going crazy for him right now.
Yeah. Oh, it's punishing PvP players, sure. I guess like 3-month ban or something. I don't know, but
Yeah.
how do you punish accordingly in that case? Because technically they could have been PvP players, I guess. If they were PvP players, they're just not allowed in PvP anymore.
You could just make a new account.
Technically, those players who wanted to buy the AT, they would want it for that account in particular. So I think buying an alt account doesn't make sense in this regard unless they want to play PvP again just for the sake of playing PvP. But if they wanted to play for like the crown or the whatever rewards that you get from ATs, this kind of like bars them from ever doing that again on the account that they wanted on. But again, it comes with like if they play PvE in that sense. If they play PvP, then yeah, they'll just make another account, whatever. I don't know. It depends on what the buyers were played essentially.
I don't know. It's just that it's just one of those things where I just don't know sometimes the reason why they go that far to get something. Like, you're just ruining the game for everybody else. People who
They don't
work
care
hard
about that.
I know. I mean, the game's for everybody. Let everybody play fairly. Come on, it's like, come on, don't ruin it for everybody else.
It's not necessarily about ruining it. It's more about just getting money at this point.
That's true.
So, but yeah, it's just like I don't know. Those players in particular probably just don't respect, I guess, the game anymore, just because it's become a shell of its former self that they enjoyed. So it's like, oh, well, I'm just this is just like my speculation, but it's like, oh well, it's like if I'm not, I might as well just get the best use out of it I possibly can, which is if someone wants to pay me $500 to win them a tournament and I'm good at it, I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah.
Permanently change their title to Cheater Pumpkin Eater.
Actually,
that'd be funny if like, we're not gonna just remove your stuff. We're gonna add something right there, a permanent title, Cheater.
You can't change it.
I actually read that they should have changed the crowns to dunce caps. That would have been interesting.
Although, if they did that, there would be people like, oh, I need to get
If they did that, yeah, that's true.
That's how Guild 1 was with the Dune ban or Doom ban.
Yeah, it becomes the Doom ban all over again.
Just to do it, just to see it for themselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, any other thoughts on the PvP League Season 18 or the automated tournament issue?
Rip. Yeah, that's what I got.
Press F to pay respects.
I'll say it's probably not the first, and it probably won't be the last, unfortunately. But
did I actually press F in
the article from MMORPG, MMORPG.com, sorry, was basically bringing up the question of Guild Wars 2, do we need more mounts? Which I saw people earlier in chat was saying, like, maybe some of the announcements for the 30th coming up will talk about more mounts and stuff. And I think we've gone back and forth on this issue, and the writer Stephen Weber was actually doing a good job of, I think, kind of going back and forth looking at both sides. But I'm kind of curious what your guys' thoughts are on basically the general question of should we or do we need more mounts?
This personally, this writer's like 50-50 for me since his last article, but he brings up an interesting point in this one, just because he finds that there are mounts that they could have used, like the Raptor they could have used in World vs. World and just have like masteries for that, or
Though could they have?
guys.
I don't remember what our argument was, but this was our argument going forward with why they needed a separate World v World mount was balance, like.
Well, they would
balancing
just like
reasons.
keep it core Raptor, right? And then just give the Raptor World vs. World abilities, if anything. Not give them the speed or what have you. I don't know. But it was just an interesting topic he brought up about various things, or improving masteries to give the current mounts more movement abilities or things like that. So,
And chat saying more mounts equals more skins equals more money, which, well, you can have more skins without having more mounts. I mean, we've had the same amount of armor slots, and they're not hindering on getting more skins out for those. I mean,
And plus, you don't necessarily have to worry about like, oh, you're not gonna get something out of a, like, say, the Griffin. I can get a lion out of a Griffin, so it's like, hey, I mean, technically, and it's still technically the Griffin mount, but it is technically a different creature all around. From appearance standpoint.
mm-hmm.
As far as, I could almost say maybe, I would almost say if they were going to add more mounts, I would only say 2 more. I don't think, I think if they were to add more than 2 more or thing like that, I think it'd get a little too crazy, because I have no idea what is left when it comes to, traveling abilities that, I mean, other than underwater, because everybody's talking about underwater, but
Yeah, I was gonna say that was gonna be my next question. Of they seem like they tried to fill a niche that doesn't exist. So my question would be, what would that mount do? And I know a lot of people have said underwater, and
underwater, but like there need to be a reason to have that mount, because right now
underwater.
most, well, Arla's just going to be V out of million against it, but it's okay. But there's not much reason to go underwater, so that's why they need to justify having an underwater mount. The only reason to go underwater is for puzzles or like some instances in personal story.
The reason for sky scale, and the guy does bring it up in the article, they said sky scale equals Griffin plus Springer, which I would disagree.
yeah,
it functions.
I mean,
very
I'll be fair. I thought of that at first. It's basically somewhere in between that, like, but the major differences, there are some major differences between them overall. I mean, I would use the Springer in completely different situations compared to the sky scale. I mean, sky scale has a height limit, usually has a pretty
right, but like it gives you the ability to go up more directly than the Griffin does. Like,
well, yeah,
and,
I mean,
and also chat's now saying sky scale is a raptor bunny. I think that's even further from what a sky scale is. But
that's what he meant by Griffin and Springer. Not that you would use this one in place of where you would use the bunny, but like you would use it in similar ways where you can't use the bunny. So like
right.
gliding along, you can't just switch to your Springer and jump up, but you can do that on the sky scale.
Right, basically, yeah. I mean, I would almost say a sky scale is me using the Griffin and the Springer at the same time. I would almost argue that that's how sky scale kind of functions, because previously before the sky scale, for me to go up and soar through the skies, I would use the Springer to get up and then the Griffin to fly further.
Right. And I think that's what he was saying in the article. At least that's the way it read to me, was that's what I think that's what he meant by sky scale plus Springer.
Yeah.
But I'm not against the inclusion of the sky scale. I'm not even against the inclusion of the War Claw. I mean, they have a different plan. I mean, and it does have a different plan for the War Claw. I mean, just because we can use it in PvE doesn't necessarily mean it's useful for PvE. I mean, we all know that
it's not very useful in PvE at all.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, for one thing, It looks cool. I mean,
I was just
hey,
gonna say
I
it's
mean,
a good AFK mount until the sky scale came out, and then
right.
now the sky scale is an annoying AFK mount because now it's add motion.
Right.
But at the same time though, it's like, there are some, every mount has a strength and weakness, and you apply it to depending on where you're going. Warclaw is more for World versus World, and they even said themselves in the past that they're going to be adding more abilities to it for World versus World. We'll never know if they're going to do something for updating it in PvE, but I doubt it. And it's just that if you try to include any of the other mounts in World versus World, it would be broken, because adjusting all the numbers for the speed or whatever is going to get tricky. So I thought, the Warclaw is just there as a base for what they can do for a mount in a different setting compared to PvE. And and also we needed a cat. Come on, we all need cats in our. We need a mountable cat anyway. So
Yes.
Well, and that's what chat's saying. Now they can kind of roleplay as a cat, which that's fine. If you use it as your main mount to roleplay as a cat, type thing, awesome. I don't think that was the intended purpose for when we're talking about usefulness of the mount. We're talking about the skills that are attached to the mount system for that particular mount. Is it useful? Which do any of the Warclaw's World v World skills carry over? Because you can't use the grappling hook things. You can't use.
It's just the movement one when you hit.
It's just the movement. Okay.
the only notable thing that for the Warclaw is that it does have the highest damage attack skill. It has the highest compared to all the other mounts.
Hey. Sorry.
Is your Warclaw acting up?
Yes.
So,
My mini Warclaw was throwing a fit.
so if that's an incentive for use in PvE, I mean, maybe if you want to hit an enemy AI as hard as you can use the Warclaw for that. But other than that, like, I checked the speeds, and it's no faster than a Griffin, no faster than any of the other mounts.
So, in all seriousness, more mounts, more money, more problems.
That's true, and I really can't think of any other movement method that needs to be updated other
Crawling
than
on the walls is about the only one that I could come up with. Like to climb
True.
the walls, but like with the Springer, you don't really need to do that because you can usually, like, even walls that you're not meant to use the Springer on, there's usually artifacts that you can land on and then jump up further. Like, I don't know.
And there's probably an issue where if they ever tried to do a mount that just is wall climbing, Spider-Manning everywhere, just running in the side of a building or whatever, I think it's just going to be a bigger hassle for Arena to then try to seal off anything that could add any potential map breaks.
Oh yeah.
I was like, can we have a Tron bike mount that's just like literally can go up the side of the walls just perfectly?
No, just add just add an extra beetle mastery. We already got the beetle for that for high speed. Yeah. Just add that.
All right, so I was thinking about what wall crawling mounts could be, and I was like, well, obviously we can't have a spider because we all know how that went now. I think Scorpion would probably fall in the same boat as spiders, like people being up. So, but we could get a gecko mount.
Isn't that a skin already for the bunny?
It's a skin for the Springer, but we could have a real gecko mount, like a real gecko that we ride on. It climbs up the walls and stuff. Yeah. That would be amazing.
I'll go monkey instead.
Monkeys don't climb up walls. They climb up other things, but not.
What if it's a mist monkey?
Oh, I am so sorry. I didn't know that walls were the exception.
We are talking about things that climb up the walls, okay?
Hey, didn't you see that scene in Planet of the Apes where they just built that big wall and they're like, ah, crap.
But that, although technically the sky scale can kind of do that. It's not wall climbing, but it's more like wall sticking.
Yeah, yeah.
I was so sad with a little bit of that because
I've been Corgi mount forever. So don't start with me, Tavik. You know this. Sorry.
There you go. Well, why don't they just naturally put a skin on it? We'll get a corgi mount that's just it's just in a Velcro suit so it can stick to the wall. It just
Just rolls up and down the wall. That's how you
there
do
you
it.
go. Once again, ArenaNet, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Amazing.
By the way, I'm not so sure if you guys. I don't know if you guys do this every now and again, but I kind of do this for fun, for practicing with my Griffin. But I always go to Divinity's Reach, and I try to go as the highest point possible on top of where the
Mm-hmm. Like above the
the dome area. You know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. But
Aerodrome?
the really
Right.
fancy chandelier. I forget what it's called. The
yeah.
orrery?
And you can go climb on top of that at one point, but as soon as they added the sky scale, they've added invisible walls, and it's like very difficult to access it with the Griffin. And it's like, damn, I can't do my Griffin practices anymore because they walled off a specific area. But
Well, and like Chad's saying, why would you want to stick to walls though? And I think that's our point: is what other traveling ways? Like we could think underwater, and I think it was Mr. You said in chat on Wednesday you were also thinking like a transport, like a carrier mount that you could carry other allies, which I
That
don't
could
know
be useful.
personally. I would say I would like to hear your guys' thoughts. Personally, for me, I don't think that would be that great because it's kind of like incentivizing AFK like people not playing.
They brought back guild missions. It would be useful.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know if that's feasible, just because, like, how many people are talking? Like 5 people, 10 people?
20.
That's too much.
It's a long elephant, and it's just like rows of people sitting on the back.
a giant centipede.
Oh my god, that's
Well,
another
that could
thing a lot of people would freak out about.
that could climb on the wall. There you go. We
Yeah.
met 2 birds with 1 stone.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, if honestly now at this point, now that I think about it, like if like I said, I think maybe we have room for maybe 2 more mounts. I think 2 is probably good enough. I'm happy with the current amount that we got. 8 is a lot for a game, but I would think maybe 2 more is fine. And if they were to fill the niche of 1 for a group mount, a convoy mount, and an underwater, a faster method of traveling underwater, and there you go. You got the 2 remaining things that are left to take care of, I think.
I still don't have all the current mounts, so I'm good.
And
I mean, to be fair, I like underwater combat. People say how it's the worst. I still say the correct way to say it is it's the worst feature in Guild Wars 2, yes, but it's still the best underwater combat in an MMO that I've come across. Like,
I was gonna say, even with
and if I do, I'm apparently lying. So,
sorry. But the bigger problem is there's not much reason to do underwater combat. Like,
yeah. So if
they've kind of really dealt with that over the last couple seasons, but I still like going to like the old zones and looking at like Draknar's Forge. I'm glad they updated the Revenant's skills to be more underwater, because god, that sucked. But
yeah.
We'll see. I don't know. I don't see it being feasible for a lot of things, but
yeah, I'm just curious what bases would they cover, and the only one I could even remotely consider is underwater, which unless we're somehow getting the deep sea dragon here shortly, we're not getting that anytime soon, like an underwater mount, because they've really stepped away from underwater combat, like we're saying.
The big announcement is like this big giant underwater elder dragon's gonna pop up and be like, "You forgot about me."
Or just the crate's legend of the Leviathan's gonna return and flood the world. It's that's how they announced it. They're like, while you all were sitting here, a current event was happening that we failed because you people sitting in this theater were not there to save it. Now all of Tyria is underwater.
What if I brought my laptop and I go like, what now? Huh? I'm doing the current event right now.
You weren't enough because you play Thief.
But oh wow. That hurt. Shit.
You've seen the movie Waterworld? Yeah, that's happening.
Oh, can I have webbed feet?
No.
Oh. Well, that's the thing. Yet mounts are a POF thing. I mean, and that's gonna be the awkward thing. Is like this is they're kind of wanting to say this has expansion like features, but it's not an actual.
What if it's just a, what if it's a new means of transportation they add instead?
Yeah, I would be up for that. If I mean, my other question would be, what other means of transportation could they do?
Airship.
I mean, yeah, but then that kind of negates Griffin and Griffin and Springer. I mean,
I don't want an airship just
that's
because
your
have a habit of getting shot down in this game.
That's your group convoy. There you go.
And I just thought of this now. Season 2, there are masteries, right? Green masteries specifically. I don't remember.
I think they retroactively added those to the because masteries came in with HOD, so no.
Yeah, I just thought if they were to retroactively do that for season 5 for the next expansion like that, it's like, oh, you get these extra masteries for what? You'll see. Like, I don't know if they're gonna do that, but you know, if season 5 is either tied to POF still, or if they're gonna do that retroactive thing, if you know, for season 5 is the prelude to the next expansion, therefore you're gonna get new mastery points that you're gonna be using for later on or something.
I don't think they would do that.
I kind of want people to do all the masteries, and so they have the ones they have for their profession. They have all the ones that they have now, but yeah, there's no there's extra Central Tyria ones. I don't remember how many hot ones there are extra, and I don't know how many extra POF, but I think there's like at least 10. But you do bring up an interesting point, how they would do masteries in the future. Huh.
I'm just saying it's a possibility, not saying confirmed or not, but it's like...
No, but it's interesting. If they gave you extra masteries for like whatever they're going to do, how would they give them to you? Because they've always been expansion based, or
I mean, there's nothing barring them from adding new masteries through.
Oh no! I'm not saying that. I'm just wondering how they do it, because technically, living story you can get by themselves. I guess you would need what would expansion would you need for this living story? Now think about it, because
they're either, so there's two ways they can do this. They can either keep it under the POF umbrella, which I could totally see them doing it because we're still following after all of that, or season 5 can be stand alone and its own thing, and you just have to unlock the episodes to be able to get the masteries for it, which seems less likely to me.
Yeah,
but that's really the only way they could do those. There's not much of a more option with that.
Yeah, because I think like ZeKrioX was saying how they were color coded, because chat's saying they're considering season 3 masteries as kind of being a separate thing, but they added them separately.
I'm talking about the points, not the
right. They were still hot points, and you still needed hot in order to be able to play the season 3.
Yeah, kind of like with season 4, they're adding more mastery points because we're having more masteries put in, but they're all still, POF points. And season 3 was all
so Arlie's argument still works. It's like, if it's Central Tyria, you use Central Tyria points. If it's POF, if they're still basing on POF, they use POF points. But I was wondering if they're going to branch off that entirely.
It's possible. The reason I feel like they wouldn't do it is because that's cutting off a revenue stream. Like, if they're just doing the same pattern with the living story unlocking when you log in and it's not tied to any expansion, that's a major cutoff of revenue stream. So then my question is, where are they going to make up that money?
Yeah, I can see the point.
That's interesting. Or maybe they'll just do hit masteries. I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know how they're gonna do it.
Well, we don't have to
What's
wait
the
too.
announcement on the 30th? Read it.
Yeah, I was saying we won't have to wait too long. I mean, next episode we'll be hopefully discussing it. I mean, that's how time works. But yeah, if you haven't paid
That's how
attention,
time works.
unless Arena time locks it.
Oh
but-
my god.
Yeah, if you haven't been paying attention or been watching any other, not even just our Guild Wars 2 podcast, any of the other ones, they're been planning an announcement on the 30th, which they put out another blog post, but they added a little bit more information. If you are going, it's August 30th at 9 a.m. Pacific time at the Moore Theater in Seattle before PAX West opens. The doors will open at 8, so definitely make sure to show up there. But if you're not able to go, you can catch the whole stream on Guild Wars 2's official Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook channels. The countdown will begin after their anniversary live stream, but there will also be partners streaming the event via other languages. So for German, you have the partner streamers Durden, Guild News, GW2 Community DE, Ron Cloud,
Claude.
Claude.
Odd.
Try saying it with French accent.
Claude.
Claude. Okay. If I couldn't do that one, I'm Takeo GW2.
There you go.
And then French, Les Boss Magique. I love that one. Because I was like, wait a minute, that's... But anyway, sorry. Spanish, they're doing... is that an RI or... It's Fari Nos.
Yeah.
And Varolet. I hope I'm saying those names correctly. I do apologize if I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
But they did say during the stream, the Guild Wars 2 channels and also those partnered streams that we mentioned, they'll give away some codes for an Ascended Aurene clothing outfit so your character can stay cool and look stylish through the end of summer. Live attendees, you don't have to worry. You will receive a code for the outfit. And also attendees, the first 500, will receive a Guild Wars 2 swag bag. And also on location, the For Fans by Fans will be at the venue with some merchandise like the Quaggan plush, enameled Catmander pin, handy water bottles, and much more. But I'm kind of curious. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Age, your job is pick up some extra codes. It's your one job.
Well, and that kind of brings up my question of, they say they'll give away some code, for the attendees, but on the partnered streams and also their streams at this point, and I know it doesn't cover YouTube or Facebook. At this point, come on, Twitch drops. Get with the times,
Right.
ArenaNet. Twitch drops.
Yeah, they're really behind on that.
But
Yeah, I wonder what goes into setting that up, because I don't know. I can't
would actually
imagine
be
why
curious.
they wouldn't be doing
I
that.
mean, yeah, if Warframe can do it,
well, let's not insult war. If the idiots at Warframe could do it, they could figure it out.
I mean, no offense to Digital Extremes, but they are like the indie MMO developer, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Whereas Arena is considered more of a AAA one. But I consider D AAA at this point because they're fairly decent size. But anyway,
well, I like how you're arguing against your own idea. So keep going. Tell me more how you're wrong.
Yourself.
No, but yeah, there's so many games that utilize it, and I know some people get confused with it. It doesn't require Prime, Twitch Prime, or any subscriptions or anything like that. It's a free thing as long as your accounts are linked. That's usually the sticking point. So maybe it's even a thing with Guild Wars 2 account systems. Maybe it, I don't know. I bet it's just
Does WoW do that by any chance?
WoW does, yeah.
Well, not WoW.
Blizzard actually.
Heroes does it. They kind of
Blizzard, you can connect your Battle.net account, so basically all Blizzard games has the potential for Twitch drops.
Okay.
Yeah, I've just only seen them do it with heroes.
Oh, they do it for Overwatch League. I'm AFKing right now.
Ah, cool.
But yeah, that
Yeah.
is one way to, like, I don't want to say inflate your numbers, but I know a lot of people will show up and, like Age is saying, AFK in the thing so they get the stuff. And
I mean,
it
I
makes your-
found new cool streamers that way. I saw somebody doing Heroes Twitch drops, and I was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I watched them, and I was like, "Wow, you're pretty entertaining." Like, it's
yeah,
it's
same
a
same happened to me
symbiotic
for
cycle.
yes. Same happened to me for Warframe too. I saw someone that I was like, this guy's pretty cool. Okay, I'll follow him and
Mhm.
go back. And so, and I honestly, with not to get too far down the Twitch drop thing of, I would like to see that implementation, especially how Warframe does it, where they have a bonus stuff for their partners. Like you can there's more stuff to give away when something happens. But anybody that has their Twitch account linked with their Warframe in that situation, if they get an achievement, it sends whoever's watching and in this case it could be like just the equivalent of a loot bag, like for Warframe. It's just like a couple of little bits of resources. It's nothing major, but it's something that's like, I'm being rewarded for watching even a new player or a lower a smaller streamer. I think that would be a good implementation for Guild Wars 2. It's like
An outfit, get Black Lion keys, get this. Like, there's plenty.
I don't know if they'd go that far, but
Yeah, I don't think they'd go there.
which I know a lot of people kind of, when you're saying that, it reminded me, I saw some people saying, because a lot of people were speculating that the Ascended Arene clothing outfit might look like the Guild Wars 2 logo shirt that kind of looks like a kind of just standard t-shirt and khakis. I haven't seen a picture either way. I don't know if there are any. I haven't, but people are assuming that.
Oh, who cares? It's free.
With
just
the different logo. Well, it's free for some people. Some people that are going age.
Yeah.
And then some people have a commitment to do the news every week. Yeah.
Wait,
Some people have jobs, man.
I have a job.
Sadly,
I'm
at least
fixing the show when I'm there, so I don't see the problem.
As far as the whole thing goes, unfortunately, I'm gonna miss out on the live stream itself because I work at those hours.
Yeah, I'll probably miss
What
the
I
live one.
What I intend to do, I think, would be kind of weird, but it's like if there's like I'm sure there's gonna have like a live recording of it already. And,
Oh yeah, they're gonna.
Basically, I'm just gonna like stay away from the phone as far as I can. Unsubscribe to Wooden Potatoes for a bit, just for the weekend only, just so he doesn't spoil anything.
Yeah.
And I'll resub. And then maybe on the same day, I could probably do like a reaction stream of. Obviously, everybody's gonna be way ahead of me, but I'll just do a stream reaction for myself for doing that afterwards. So, because I really want to see it, but I know I'm gonna be working on those hours, and by the time I'm back, it's already
I'm
done.
really sad about it because like that was one of the nice things the last time they did this when they announced Hot. It was like on a Saturday and like woke up and hung out in the morning and just turned on the TV and watched it, and it was really nice. But they're doing it in the middle of the workday. Just like, come on.
Well, to be fair, it's work for them too, so it's.
I know, but still.
But it is kind of interesting that I one of the other things I did see was people saying, "Oh, they're not doing a Twitch drop, like do Twitch drops or anything like that, because then they'll sell in the gem store later." The only other thing that they kind of did like this was once again that Guild Wars 2 logo T-shirt, which they did for multiple conventions, and then I think they put it in the game via the statue things. There's like it's not really a pay for it type way. Like you don't really pay direct money for it, so it's like.
Actually, I just realized that they haven't announced like their annual party this year. So I think they're doing this instead of that, which is very interesting.
Maybe. Oh, yeah, they didn't do a party at PAX East either this year, did they?
They weren't at PAX East, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
But since they are in Seattle and they've had it every year, so that's very interesting.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, when they've been at PAX East, they usually did a party too. So
Yeah. So PAX West, like PAX West, it was like they always did one. So it's kind of very interesting that they're not doing one this year.
Well, I guess my biggest question is any final thoughts before next week, because next week we're gonna know what it is. Any remaining predictions?
Living Story season 5.
Thanks for that.
No problem.
Really
I
going on a
Jormag.
limb there.
again.
Jormag. It's all alluding to Jormag.
Yeah,
it's a red herring.
Psych.
we're gonna fight a giant fish.
It's actually going to be the underwater dragon is a
And
giant,
it's a giant red hair. That would be amazing. I'm not gonna lie. If the underwater dragon turned out to be a red hair, they would do that for the pun. Oh, they would. Oh.
It would be amazing.
If they ever do that, I'll pay as much respects as I can to Arena for pulling that off. But nah.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it, but again, not too high, not too low. Just because the thing is, I do not want to be hurt by ArenaNet if it's like. If they somehow like, like my biggest fear with the announcement is it's like if they're gonna talk about Living Story, obviously, and I'm fine with that. But if for some reason they pull off a preview trailer of this, then it's like 25 minutes of just talking, interviewing each other about some expectations, not even talking about features or anything like that. I do want some features, not just the story. I don't want, I want a little bonus on that too. But
yeah, I understand. You want basically the hot announcement type of deal.
Yeah,
I
like,
but for season 5. Yeah, that makes sense.
Like a full plate with all the different, parts to it, not just story. That's it. And
Guild Wars 3.
No.
No.
Yeah. So what if what's his name? Greg Miller? What's his name?
Yes.
The guy who's okay. So what if Greg Miller? I'm sorry, Riley. So like he pops up on the stage. He's gonna like start off, and then he gets cut off by Keanu Reeves.
Yes.
Who suddenly walked. I raised the bar.
Keanu Reeves comes out on stage dressed like a corgi, and Arlie just faints.
I would die. I would literally like have an aneurysm and a heart attack.
She doesn't even hear the announcement. Like he's probably. You don't even realize she already fainted, but he comes out going, "Oh, I'm in the wrong place.
Like
I'm sorry."
Stereotypical like Japanese anime girl with the blood out the nose, being like, ah!
Introducing Corgi Reeves.
Our new main character throughout the next Living Story arc.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Char cosplayer removes the head. It's Keanu Reeves.
Chad does bring up a.
Yeah, they would just have Keanu Reeves for that one season. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That'd be so worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that'd be so much money though.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves, the main villain of season 5.
I dig it. I would.
Can I join him? Does the
Codicus
commander
had
get an
a
option
son.
to join the villain?
Codicus had a son, and he's pissed.
Oh, no, not that low. No.
Keanu Codicus.
But he's too busy with Matrix 4, I think, so it's okay.
That's gonna be a movie that exists.
I don't know what to expect from that.
Honestly, I wasn't interested, but when they said that him and Trinity would be in it, I'm like, okay, now I'm interested.
Yeah.
We'll
Here's
see.
hoping. But yeah, honestly, I'm gonna steal because the Shadow of the Dragon podcast that we talked about last week that had their show, and they kind of asked the question of what announcement would make you like hit the roof of in excitement, and
Oh, Keanu
I'll
Reeves.
say. Well, I was gonna say what would make me excited is, like I said, if Mike Z looked right down the camera and going, you know, oh, I do this interior when I listen to my favorite podcast, Talking Skritt. I mean, personally, it's a selfish one, but I think I would be excited for it.
Oh my.
It wouldn't be very applicable to anyone else, but I'd be like, yeah.
For the
And then
I
Greg Miller
guess.
would be like, who?
Mhm.
for the hardcore scene, anybody watching that is like, guess what? We got content.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We got content, people.
The Wing 7 was content, and I can tell you that the hardcore people weren't. They were okay with it, but it's like it was on the easier end. So content that they have to enjoy, I guess. But like, I get your point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they wanted more stuff in the gem store, right?
Don't segue like that, please.
Everything in the gem store.
Oh
Woo!
God, no. I wasn't even going to try to say that. But speaking of the gem store, this week we didn't get any new skins or anything, but we did get a new item. It is the Knife Tail Gang Hunting Bond. So if you do log in, you do get one for free. But after that, it's 1 for 200 gems, 5 for 900 gems, and 15 for 2,400 gems. And like I said, you can get one for free until September 3rd. And
That's how
that's
they get
if that's if you purchased an expansion or have had or have had core Guild Wars 2 prior to the play for free. The free one is this is where I'm a little surprised and once you figure out once we tell you what's in it, but the free one is giftable, so you can send it to other accounts. Though I think a lot of these free items you can gift, but I think this one is because usually the free item was like like a hairstyle kit or something, like a
Mm.
kind of relook, making your character look different. This one, it's like this is a kind of a bigger deal because basically when you consume it, it grants you a stacking buff which has no timer on it, but when you go out and kill any enemy in the world, it has a chance to spawn a Knife Gang Skritt member, which it basically once you defeat it, you can obtain a recovered Black Lion goods drop. And what is in this Black Lion goods drop? It is something from the gem store. So it could be outfits, glider skins, mount skins, armor skins, weapon skins, backpack skins, exclusive dyes, minis, mail carriers, and so. But yeah, it's
I'll say this much: it's like this is the exact item that they made exclusively for me, because
Oh boy.
because I like to collect skins myself. These days I've been just trying to see what I'm planning ahead to do, like dungeons or fractals or anything like that, to get like some of the skins that can be not unlocked normally, so
Mhm.
that I can then increase my chances of getting anything that's from the gem store or anything like that. And to me, this item in particular, now I'm not entirely sure how viable it is. If it's like something that everybody could, if it's better than if the alternative is this or Black Lion keys in between these
This
two
is
items, like
this is better if you want more value, because I've seen some people have better results in the terms of the items that they've gotten and how they cost, and they're cheaper than buying them outright. So you do save on gems. The thing is, you could get these in Black Line chest, but you have the off chance of getting like the other stuff, like stealth styled hair kits,
mhm,
the currency thing, the currency voucher, things like that. So
right,
these are just eliminating those options.
right, because I feel like this is basically like basically Wardrobe Unlock 2.0, like a more
Yeah.
advanced version of a Unlock 2.0. To be honest, I actually gave it a shot. I used the free one and then decided to just get $10, get 4. I actually wrote a sticky note on what I got actually.
Oh, okay.
First one, not exactly a good one. I got the Aqua Satin dye.
Oof.
Ooh.
So
I think dyes are down in
yeah. After that one, I'm saying, you know what? I'm just gonna farm enough material to then sell, and then just get the remaining, the cheaper
Yeah.
ones. Anything like under 10 gold, I'll try to get by farming.
Mhm.
Next up, one that's actually from the gem store. I got Rox's short bow, so that's cool.
That's actually nice. Okay.
Third attempt, branded dagger, 73 gold in the gems, 70 gold in the whatchamacallit.
That is
Trading post?
important. It does instantly unlock, so you can't trade these skins.
Yeah,
that
you
acquire.
can. It's just
So,
unlocking it in your wardrobe.
Is
Fourth item, Mad Realm Scepter, 100 gold, and War God's Longbow, 230 gold. So my account value has increased just because of that. Obviously, I'm not making any money off of that, but I got worthwhile skins to a degree.
you kind of saved that amount from.
I saved that amount,
rent.
exactly. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, good.
I don't necessarily recommend this is just my opinion. I don't necessarily recommend anybody using it if they're looking for mounts. I mean, you already have a better alternative to get your mounts is just through the the mount licenses overall. If you'll get exactly what you need if you're looking for that. But I'd say for everything else, I think this is fine.
Unless you're in the situation that you've collected everything else and then all that's left is the mount skins, then it's probably a worth it thing.
True.
But
I don't know anybody who has like everything unlocked, that far ahead.
Yeah, but. and that's the thing. The note is it works like the wardrobe unlock or the mount things where you're never gonna get a duplicate. Once it unlocks the skin, it takes that from the possibility. So
which is nice too. Yeah. It's not. Carfus asks, "Is this a solution to getting around a gambling?"
No.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's kind of the biggest question is.
No.
I think from people is because this is just a loot
It's a better loot box. It's a better loot box. It's still a loot box.
Yeah. But see, this is where it gets muddied is, I mean, technically RPGs in general, or like MMOs, you go out and kill something, the looting system, you have a chance of killing a level 1 mob in Queensdale and it dropping a precursor. Isn't that loot box-esque in the same way as this? Because you paid for the game.
I don't know where the source is, but in the wiki it says that due to anti-gambling laws, the item is not available to purchase in Belgium.
Yes,
I don't know where the source is, but
well, I know. Was it Mister during Wednesday's stream? Someone, I think it might have been Mister, that was saying that they cannot purchase it due to that. So
that makes sense because it does provide. There's like an RNG element to it, so you can't.
But yeah,
that makes sense. Like so for me, it's like I used the free ones on my accounts, and I got on my alt account I got a glider, so I have one glider skin for that account now.
You didn't gift them all to one account?
Yeah, no. And then I have the I got the ice encased outfit, something like that.
Nice.
On my main account. And that's it. So I don't plan on buying anymore because I really need to save the money for the trip next week. But I just don't like the RNG element. Like it's skins, that's great, but it's skins that I may not want. Yep. That's my problem.
Yeah, I ended up getting the Defiant. Is it the Defiant? It's basically the different Black Lion skins with it, or the shattered glass pieces with the different gods. But I got like I think it's Defiant Greatsword, with my free one. But honestly, when I first saw the blog post, because they talk about, it's Evan Nashblade saying like the Skritt gang stole my supply, and if you hunt them down and kill them, you can keep what they drop. And that was and I was like, oh, is this an in-game event? Because I was like, if they would,
You did too.
I wish this would have been an in-game event. Maybe keep these around, like when it's off season, it's like you still want to do it, but like at very minimum, it would have been cool if it was like, and probably mess with the drop rate. Like it wouldn't happen constantly, because then they would basically be out of stuff in the gem store, but have like a lower drop rate. Like during the anniversary month or something, there was a, and they could play with the numbers, like a 5% chance that when you kill something, it according, probably with them, it'd probably a 1% chance, but
0.25 at
okay.
the very max.
a low chance where it would Skritt would pop out and you could kill him. And because for me that would be an in-game way, not all the time, because I think that would be a kind of ridiculous thing. At most, I would like to see like an event like that every 4 months, like per quarter. So like if you miss it one time around, someone could do like.
I'd be happy with 1 year actually if they did that.
That would be
An
my
anniversary.
minimum. Ideally, I would like every quarter, because it could kind of keep people popping in every quarter for them.
I feel like they'd lose money on that though, rather than
it would depend on how low of a drop rate is what I'm thinking.
I guess so. So like not everyone gets it. It's kind of like that thing that it did with the Silverways, and whoever got that Heart of Thorns drop was able to do the beta for Heart of Thorns, that type of deal.
Yeah, that thing made me so mad.
But it would probably be even a lower drop rate than that. I mean,
And
some people got 2, right, Arlie?
Yeah.
I got 2.
And maybe just for extra security on that, like once per map. So you already looked at Kessex Hills, for example. You get that buff, and that drop rate that you mentioned, like either 1% or so. You just get it. Oh, you found it. Bam, you kill it. You got it, and you can't farm in that map anymore. So you got to move on to the next place. That could be an interesting idea for an event too. So just to balance it out.
Like they could figure out like how they want to gate it, but I feel like that would have been an awesome way to do an in-game way to get these gem store skins, to kind of stop people from saying, oh, the only way to do it is transferring gold and stuff and like that, which
Right.
I think is still a viable option, but it is something that sticks with people.
Right.
But
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, any other thoughts on the event?
Is it? I guess it is an event.
Or not event? Well, sorry, the new item. I really want it to be an event.
It technically. It's limited time, I had to assume, because
I don't know. It does. I don't think it really. Maybe September 3rd, because they do say one for free until September 3rd, but they didn't say end period.
I can see that going away like after 2 weeks, just because that's a very lucrative way of getting skins versus the Black Lion chest, and you would still want people to use the Black Lion's chest.
I'm surprised no one said, like, maybe I missed the comment, but I'm surprised no one said like, oh, the gem store now gets current events. Like,
Damn. No, but I like it. I'm not gonna partake in it too often, obviously, but it's like, hey, that's literally an item made for me, because usually I just want to unlock skins. So
It doesn't say anything about it being limited time, so I would assume it's just the normal cycle on it.
That's interesting. Okay.
But also we have the anniversary sales. August 20th, they released the Mistlock Sanctuary Pass key for 750 gems, which is 25% off. The mini Angry Chest for 280 gems, which is 30% off. Also, the Raven Mantle came out for 300 gems, which is 25% off, along with the Raven Helm, which is also 300 gems at 25% off. The Raven's Spirit Glider for 370 gems, which is 25% off. August 23rd, they gave us Black Lion chest keys at 30% off, which is, one for 87 gems, 5 for 315, and 25 for 1,470. August 24th, we got the character slot expansion, which will be 520 gems, which is 35% off. And tomorrow, if you're watching this live, the Total Makeover Kit for 105 gems, which is 70% off, limit 1 per customer. And we have some returning stuff. Black Lion Backpack and Glider Voucher. So you get 1 for 630, 5 for 2,450 gems, and 10 for 3,500 gems. The Black Lion Glider Voucher, 1 for 360, 5 for 1,400, and 10 for 2,000. A Black Lion Outfit Voucher, 1 for 630, 5 for 2,450, and 10 for 3,500. And the Black Lion Weapon Voucher, which is 1 for 540, 5 for 2,100 gems, and 10 for 3,000 gems. And basically those kind of work as separate versions of the thing we've gotten. So
Yeah.
I guess if you want to hone in on your stuff and you wanted to go that route, sure. Also returning this week, the Shiver Peaks Mount Pack for 1,600 gems, the Shimmer Wing Skyscale Skin for 2,000 gems, and the Skyscale Hatchling Mining, Harvesting, and Logging Tools for 1,000 gems apiece. So any of that gem store stuff that's returned through the anniversary or just returned in general, would you guys recommend?
A lot of people like the Shimmer Wing Skyscale skin. A lot of people.
That's really cool. The Skyscale harvesting tools are cool too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Miss
heard you
Luck's Sanctuary Passkey is probably one of the better ones because the inside there's the gravity thing.
Yeah, that is one of the cooler inside places because you can basically float up.
Mm-hmm.
And character slot expansion is always nice. So.
And do you remember the mini angry chest? It basically you get a mini chest, like kind of mimic chest type thing. That eventually you get a quest that gives you, I think, like a red wisp like mini as well. So you're kind of getting 2 minis there for 280 gems. So if you're in the mini game, maybe you're holding out for Polymok if they use that system. Who knows? But or you're just a collector.
Mm-hmm.
Would you recommend anything, ZeKrioX?
Well, me being the guy who likes, skins, I think the vouchers are great, but I suggest previewing on the wiki just to see if there's anything in particular that you want, because if there's something that isn't available yet and you're like, oh, I want it now, maybe this is a perfect time to do it. So check the wiki, get informed, look at what is available in there, and then see if you make up your mind on getting any of the vouchers that you want.
Well said, sir.
And chat is saying the angry chest is also what the tonic is kind of that we get from the events things that we were talking about at the beginning. That's what it looks like. So hey, if you get the mini here, you could be 2 little chests running around. But yeah, so yeah, lots of cool stuff. Now, yeah, since it is the week of so they're gonna still be doing it all the way up until the announcement, right? So they'll still have more anniversary sales up until the 30th.
Yeah, because officially the game came out on the 28th. So
yeah, okay. So
yeah, more week.
So yeah, more than likely just one more week of anniversary sales. So I don't know. Is there anything else that you feel like they need to put out there, cover? I don't think did they do bank tabs yet? Yeah, in chat saying if you while I was rambling them off, if you missed it today, if you're watching this live, character slot.
Yeah, I don't know if they did bank
there.
tabs yet. I do need bank tabs, so
yeah, I don't remember bank tabs, but I could be wrong.
That'd be nice, yeah.
But
you could always use more bank tabs, always.
Yeah, I could. Arena has limited me. But last up we have Community Corner, and last week Mighty Teapot Tea Time was the last episode of Tea Time, kind of they had the original cast got back together to do their Tea Time last episode, and that was Teapot, Boots, Inks, and Brazil. And I kind of say kind of because I think he was saying afterwards on Twitter that they're gonna kind of rework the whole thing and then come back again. Like So it might not be called Tea Time. It might not be the same people or what have you, but it seems like they're still going to do some kind of thing in the future. Whether
Yeah.
who knows what it is, but
Maybe they'll generalize it. I don't know.
The Tea Time reboot.
yeah, there you go. Tea Time Living Story Season 2. This was all Season 1 for them.
Yikes!
And then they delete everything so you can't go back and watch it.
Oh well.
No?
Season 1 is that great. It's fine.
Oh. But also, speaking of Teapot and all the stuff they're doing, today, if you're watching this live today, I don't know if it's still happening.
Still going.
Is it still going on? Their elitist rating party tournament's happening, and if you're watching this on YouTube when it goes up on Sundays, it is happening both today, the 24th, and the 25th, so you can check it out. It is 100% community driven. Still well over 280,000 gold, more than $3,500, and over 30,000 gems. Right now, like watching on the 24th, I think they were hitting like 4,000 viewers. It might be more while we were doing the show. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, unfortunately, we're not going to have the most up to date, because we were probably setting up for show and doing the show while it was going. But I mean, 4,000 viewers, that's really good for the Guild Wars 2 section. I mean, but
it's pretty fun to watch, the stuff I saw. So
yeah, I was gonna say I caught glimpses here and there, but nothing that I could really say. But
plus the trailer can get you all hyped too. When I first took a look at that, it's like, I want to watch that.
We talked about it last week, just in case if some people haven't seen it. I'll throw it in chat, and if you're watching on YouTube, check it out. But I'll also have Teapot's Twitch in there as well. So if you're watching this on YouTube tomorrow, or I guess it'll be today for you, if you want to watch the second half of the elitist rating party tournament, you can check it out over on his Twitch, which is twitch.tv/mightyteapot. But yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people want us to talk about it, and I know the stuff surrounding it of ArenaNet wasn't really pushing it either. Anything like that, which is a shame. I would like to see them do it more so, but I could see probably where a business would be coming from, where they're talking, Guild Wars 2 kind of talks about they're the friendliest, happiest community, and then whether it's true or not, tongue in cheek, whatever, Mighty Teapot kind of, with the whole elitist thing, kind of plays with it. I would say tongue in cheek, kind of joking about it.
Yeah.
But
I saw them push the second one once, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in a blog post or something like that. So yeah, I was interested why they didn't do it this time, but
oh yeah, I don't know.
I'm not seeing the tournament yet, but is there anything in particular when it comes to the camera work of the raids themselves? Because I don't know, it's just that I've heard something that they're probably using something.
Oh
'cause they were
yeah, that's true.
potentially
They're using this third party thing for different camera angles. That's true. Maybe that's another reason why they don't.
Right, I've been told that. I mean, at first I thought it was just because tongue-in-cheek ERP, haha. But then I think it was Jamminborn. I'm not so sure if he's still in chat or not, but he told me through Twitter that it probably had something to do with that.
I did remember seeing people say that was potentially one of the reasons. We don't fully know, but
right.
Yeah.
Now I remember that
there were some angles where they can do flybys and things like that. So it's like a third-party camera. It's like the Guild Wars 2 PvP camera that they use, but in raids. Yeah. Free cam.
Yeah, like chat saying they're using a free cam. So. Oh, chat saying there was a great match today. A Guardian 1 man's
That's
Stimorog at 1%. Nice.
Oh yeah, that's true. I did hear about that.
Yeah, so I think it is awesome, and and it kind of cinched the match for him. Yeah, I think it is a cool way to do it. I mean, I know WoW tried to do that innately. I don't know how successful they were at that, where they tried to do the whole competing in raids type thing
It's
for one of the
popular during
expansions.
BlizzCon, but that's the only time they
Oh,
really
okay.
promote it. There's a WoW first, there's a raid first thing that's a thing people watch, but it's not Blizzard putting it on.
Yeah, but weren't they gonna put in a system during one of the expansions that was like basically a leaderboard for raids or something? I thought they
Not,
talked about that at one
it's not
point.
in them themselves. They have
Oh,
leaderboards
okay.
for Mythic Plus dungeons, but that's
Maybe
different.
that's what I'm thinking of. I thought they were saying stuff about like, oh, you'll be able to race people and be on leaderboards but I don't know.
That was
I would
Mythic
like to
Plus
see.
dungeons, probably.
Okay. I would like to see them implement that. We talked about that with fractals and all that stuff, but yeah, I mean, you can't knock. They're getting 4,000 roughly 4,000 viewers. I don't know where it's at right now at this current moment, but Blizzard says a lot of things. A lot of companies say a lot of things, but also we've talked about in the past Chronicles of Tyria. They're doing their summer short stories. Another one went up. They're doing one. They're doing them every week until October 19th. I forget who wrote it, but this one was I know it was in a certain setting. Like I kind of skimmed it real quick, and like it's a size. It's a decent read. It's definitely pretty good. Chat's saying right now the current count is for the stream 2,626. So still not bad. I mean, but yeah. So, but yeah, check out Chronicles of Tyria for if you kind of want just fan made stories. Always good to support communities. Speaking of supporting communities, Gamers Giving Back, Pink Day in LA. They're I think they're doing their actual meeting tonight if you're watching this live, but you can always join their Discord, follow them on Twitter. I know they'll be doing other kind of planning meetings if you want to get involved in any capacity. And also we've talked about in the past the Guild Wars 2 Artist Collective, the Tyrian Gazette, which is remember you got to do that before September 10th. Basically, it's a book of 82 contributors making an in-game magazine. Remember, that's kind of just how it would potentially look. It's not an actual in-game item, but all ads and articles and designs are made in a way that would be a magazine that maybe you would find in Tyria. But proceeds donated to Extra Life, and a lot of the Guild Wars 2 merchandise that they were offering originally, it has all been sold out in those tiers, but you can still get it in the Indiegogo campaign that they are doing. So, but yeah, it's any thoughts on any of the community corner stuff?
Tournament's pretty cool. Even if you're not into rating, you could just like see and like how much effort that they put in, and so check it out. Go watch. Also the Tyrian Gazette's also pretty cool. I've gotten a few of their products before. I'll probably do this one when I get back, or before that double one gets to 150 because I need that. But yeah, Gamers Giving, all of them are pretty good. Like Gamers Pink Day and LA is always good. Chronicles of Tyria was also a new one, so that's pretty nice to check those out. So.
Any other thoughts? All right. Well, that looks like that is it for this. Well, actually, since we have a guest on, ZeKrioX, is there anything of yours you would like to plug or anything? Like a video or?
Well, currently, I mean, at least every Thursday, it's been mostly. I always do raids with. You guys are familiar with Miko from.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
She's
Tyria
also
now.
she does the Tyria Now stream. I participate with her Thursday team mostly, and we just for 2 hours from 8:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. We either at least currently they were trying to fight Doom, try to clear Doom, and I
Oh,
think they
cool.
succeeded. Uh, we do a bunch of things for the most part. We either do clears or just try to further increase our you know Actually, I think the last time we still had to beat Wing 6, but other than that, we just try to progress through there. So you can check us that when it comes to Guild Wars 2 stuff. So
Awesome. And if you're in chat, there's spelled it right? But
Is the bot in the chat?
oh, I think I have it spelled as something else. Guess, but that's all his ZeKrioX's socials. If you want to check him out on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. But in a second, he'll be able to tell you verbally. But first, Age, where can they find you?
You can find me here. You can find me on Twitch or YouTube at Edge Night Road, and you can find me in Seattle at that special event. If you see me there, say hi. Not much going on right now still. I will get back to people shortly on that. That's all. That's all for now.
Awesome. And Robin, where can they find you?
You can find me Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram at Arlie82. Yeah.
Awesome. And ZeKrioX, where can they find you?
they can mainly find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/ZeKrioX. I stream mostly every day, although schedules has been hectic because of a new job that I've been doing. You can watch most of my streams if you've missed out on anything through my YouTube channel. It's pretty much an archive. And for any news and updates, you can also check me out on my Twitter, twitter.com/ZeKrioX.
Awesome. And also, thank you for coming out today.
It was an honor.
And you can find me at simply_Dale on Twitch and Twitter. And if you are just popping the very end, do stick around. We're going to do a bit of an after show, but this has been probably over a 3-hour show.
Yeah, I was going to say, you guys may, but...
Yeah, I was going to say, we'll probably do some for a little bit. I know it's a lot of stuff, but if you are watching this on YouTube, we do this live on Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. And we do a bit of a pre-show, so if you want to show up a little bit early, we hang out and just talk about anything and everything, really. We talked about, I think...
math.
Yeah, math and throwing calculators across the room, which don't do that, kids.
And don't show up for pre-show if that's going to be it in the future.
Ouch. But yeah, just random things. It could even be talking about what we're going to be talking about today, during the show. But yeah, definitely come on out. It's always a fun time. If you want to watch, we can also put this out on our website, maadrealms.com, 2 A's in the MAAD. And that's also where you can get the audio version of the podcast. And also our other podcasts like Via the Void, which is our Warframe podcast with myself and Age. That's where you find the audio version of that. Vote to Kick when that kind of comes back. I know it's been kind of hit or miss. We're trying to reorganize things and kind of maybe get out maybe another show or two. Who knows? But yeah, stick tuned to all that stuff, and we'll probably announce if there's any changes. We'll always announce it on our Twitter. So at MAAD Realms Twitter. Or if it's just Guild Wars 2 related, at Talking Skritt. But that is it for this week. And next week, we'll see everybody in the game. But also with the new announcement. Hopefully it's good. But
Hopefully.
take care, everyone.
Yes.